Welcome everybody to today's stream. Welcome, welcome. Hope you had a nice day so far. Let's have some fun together in Guild Wars. There we go. As always, if you have any questions, any feedback, please let me know. Otherwise, let's just debate the new content. And I would really like to know what you think of it, if you like it, if you enjoy the new map, the new events and stuff. I have some opinion on that, but it's really interesting to see if people would agree with me, if it's just like, it's depending on the content you play, or if it's the general opinion is somewhat the same, if it's like really like people don't like the quantity and especially don't like the quality of the patch. Yeah, let's see. Maybe we can debate that, but I personally I'm not the biggest fan of the patch, I have to be honest. It's nice that we get new achievements and stuff, new legendary backpack, and so we will do that as well. But you know, you can see it already. I'm back at the old content. That's the thing, you know. I have the masteries done. I have most of the achievements done, and yeah, of course I play a lot. That's the main thing here. But there is not that much longevity other than getting the skins from the new map. No new strike mission. The convergence is, yes, fun to some extent, but let's see if you would agree with me there. Oops. That's what we do later. Welcome, welcome everyone. Later we will do a tier list on stream, so if you're up for that, be sure to stick around. Will be interesting. But first some gameplay and maybe some questions. If you have some questions, feedback, let me know. And I have some really hot debates coming up on my YouTube channel as well. So be sure to check that out as well. But what I also want to mention here, if you are watching on YouTube, be sure to check out Twitch streams as well, because currently we have drops going. So that means you can actually get some interesting skins and you can get some blackline items from just watching your favorite streamer. Hopefully that's me, but it doesn't matter. Just watch a Guild Wars 2 streamer and you will be able to get some drops there. It will go for another few days, so no rush, but of course it helps me if you would join my channel, just for your information. But of course you can also stick on YouTube, doesn't matter too much. So come on guys, please, let's start. Takes forever to wait. So I want to continue with this debate. I personally think the new patch is like, it should be the biggest patch of the follow-up patches in my opinion, because it should be the patch that concludes Chantier Wilds, you know? It should be a map, it should be some interesting story finale, it should be even some cool interesting new skins that we got maybe with the legendary backpack, but also other stuff in my opinion. And it delivered to some extent, you know? I think the skin sets and stuff is good, yeah? But what I don't like is that the map feels not as good. You know, if you compare it to a Living World Season 4 or even a Living World Season 3 map, I personally think it's not as fleshed out. It feels like it is interesting, it has a Tangled Death feeling to it, it's very unique. But in the same way, it feels not as fun. I don't know, I can't really grasp, put my finger on it, what's the main reason why it's not fun. But it feels like the events are quite boring and just a little bit tedious, maybe. Maybe that's the word that I'm looking for. I'm not the biggest fan of the new map. I will do it quite often to get all of every single one of the achievements. So that much is for sure. But does that mean that I enjoy it? I'm not sure. There are many ways to build Viva without playing it like a crowdburst. Yeah, I guess there are. I actually have some crazy cooks for Viva, because Viva is one of the classes that can use the new relic, the one with the how's it called? Stances, that you get Condi cleanses on stance activation. This one can be really useful on a Weaver. Why is that? Weaver has obviously access to stances, so some classes don't even have stances, but even the classes that have stances typically have stances that are either not that good or having a one attack that is on a single cast cooldown. But Weaver has the only class has ammunition on stances, on at least some of them. And that makes it really interesting because there is no internal cooldown there. And that's something that I really like to you know, point out, that this is a cool, interesting mechanic that you can now use this stance Condi Cleanse relic on a class that doesn't have that much Condi Cleanse. It's really cool. Yeah, Viva, nice. Welcome, welcome. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, welcome to the game and enjoy your Elementalist playstyle. Sure. Yeah, it's definitely better than a power build. I would say Weaver is a class that is very interesting in its design. It's interesting in all game modes, actually. I would say it's working in competitive modes, but it also works in PvE. However, in PvE, it feels like oftentimes Catalyst and Tempest are better in terms of getting into it and fill the role a little bit better. I'm not sure. That might be a hot take, but you have to be quite a decent player to actually play Weaver to the level that you would achieve like on a lower skill level with Catalyst. So if you like get 80% of the benchmark on Catalyst, that's quite easy to achieve. But getting 80% benchmark or even higher on a real fight with Weaver is not that easy, in my opinion. So Weaver is in a weird spot, and I think the next balance patch doesn't change it too much, which is a bummer because I really hope that they would give us some buffs. The stance relic helps there, but obviously in PvE you really wanted to have some kind of maybe stability or protection uptime and stuff on your own. That would make sense, but yeah. I feel like Weaver is more of a competitive spec nowadays. It feels a little bit power crept by others. That's my opinion on that one. But of course, I will still play it. Maybe I will even do a PvP match later with it because I like it so much. It's one of my favorite specs overall. I'm a big fan of it because it's just very unique and very, how can I say, you know, it feels very Elementalists and also very fun to play, even though it's very high APM, a little bit piano style. But if you play Elementalist, I think that's what you're aiming for anyway. Yeah, exactly. It's high risk, high reward, and that can be good, but at the same time, it can also be quite punishing because if you misplay once, even in PvE, it might be that you die because of your mobility skills that are, so to say, used in the wrong moment. You have forced movement in there, and that kills you. That can happen. It happens in PvP as well, of course, but at least if you succeed with it, you know, the feeling is really great. So, yeah. But it's not for everyone, that much is for sure. Which is okay. I always pointed it out, and I had this discussion last week on stream, I think, that I think it's really cool to have different elite specs being very different. So you don't have to have every single elite spec being able to play it as a support, Condi DPS, power DPS. I think that's something that I don't like. Yeah, it should be like every elite spec feels like the class, but on a different way. And that means that it doesn't have to be exactly the same. So I personally think, for example, a Virtuoso should not feel like a Mirage, something like that. It should feel different. And the problem that I see with balancing right now is that they often try to, for example, push a Condi trait in Virtuoso while also pushing a power trait in Mirage. Whereas you could easily have done the decision to make Virtuoso the power one and Mirage the Condi one. I think that could have been the case, but they didn't do that. So that's their balancing decision. But I personally think that's something that is definitely not optimal in my opinion. But that goes for a lot of other stuff as well. You know, it's just my idea of balancing is like you play a class because you like the class design and has a specific feel to it. It doesn't have to be the same feel as all the other classes, just in a different way. I think that's okay. Welcome. Welcome, Anger. Welcome. Interesting. They got the portal up there. Yeah, welcome everyone. I hope you had a nice day so far. And if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm always open for that. Yeah. How are you doing, Anger? We're just playing a bit, debating the new content, debating balance, just the usual stuff, having fun together. Nothing too crazy. If you have questions, any debate topics, let me know. I'm always up for that. But other than that, you can just relax, enjoy. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, I think for me, I have to be honest, the patch is not the highlight of the month, actually. I really think the balance patch for me is where I actually get way more content and way more interesting decision what I want to do in the game out of it. So I'm really looking forward to the June 24th patch. That's what I'm looking forward to, because then I will actually play the new stuff quite a lot. That's my real big highlight of this month. It's obviously not for everyone, especially newer players will probably not get that much enjoyment out of a new balance patch, but I personally think it's definitely something that keeps me as a veteran with all legendaries and stuff trying out new stuff, and that's something that you normally have difficulty with in the newer patches, because oftentimes if you get a new patch, you play it once, twice, maybe thrice, and then you're done. Yeah. I haven't played Guild Wars 2 for 10 years since I quit when the first expansion launched. Yeah, then you have a lot of stuff to actually enjoy. Even though the newest patch is not the biggest, you still get a lot, and I mean a lot of content to enjoy. You have like 2 amazing expansions with Path of Fire. If you quit actually before the first expansion, you had actually Heart of Thorns as well. Yeah, then and End of Dragons. Those 2 or 3 are really, really good. The other ones, I think, decent, but not as great. So you have a lot of content, a lot of new stuff to enjoy. And the game changed by quite a bit, I would say, since then. So enjoy the ride. If you have any questions, leave me know. Glad that you enjoyed my guides. I'm really helping the community, I hope. And if you have any feedback, any constructive points where you think that should be improved on, please let me know. I'm always happy to improve. And yeah, glad that I can help. Welcome, Roman Expert. Welcome, welcome. Any crazy cooks yet with the new relics? Or just the usual? I haven't started any new storylines yet. I want to play slowly. I like reading. Yeah, I mean, then you will enjoy the new patch. There's a lot of reading to do and a lot of new stories, so to say. Nothing absolutely game-changing, but there is a lot of reading there. So, yeah, have fun with that one, I guess. I personally enjoy more of the gameplay side, but that doesn't mean that I don't enjoy it if there's content for you as well. I played only 1 character since launch. I mean, then you have even more to explore, because obviously not you have 8 more classes to explore, and those classes also have elite specs. So there is a lot of stuff in Guild Wars 2 to explore. If you enjoy Guild Wars 2 and the combat, there is so much to do. That's one of the points that I really want to stress every single stream. If you're a new player, Guild Wars 2 has amazing amount of content. It's not like for veterans, it's not that much content anymore that comes with every patch. But for new players, there is so much stuff to explore. I did some tests, especially on my World vs. World Elementalist. Relic of Bloodstone sounds better on paper, would be dope if it's also a leap finisher. Yeah, I think the problem is that's what I was thinking of, that you really need to have consistent blast finishers, you know? Not only having the fields up, but also having consistent blast finishers. And I feel like that's something that not a lot of classes actually could have on paper. And even if you have it on paper, it feels like it's really limiting how you play, because you really use the blast finishers just for the relic then and spam them. Which is not always the wise choice, because sometimes you really want to keep them, for example, for a specific damage skill or specific just healing blast or something like that. And I feel like you don't want to limit yourself with a rotation in competitive modes like that, personally. And I feel like the number of blasts is actually also quite high to actually get the proc. So, yeah. It does about 3.5k AoE damage on Celestial plus the bleeding. Yeah, that's not that much, I guess. Yeah, I agree. Also did test Relic of Barbanivas on Viva. Cool, worth it? No, I stay on Tempest, have the same Condi cleanses without that Relic and have more damage. Yeah, I think the problem is actually not the Relic. I think the Relic is really good. Don't get me wrong, I think the Relic is really good. But I think the problem is Viva. I think what Viva needed is not necessarily Condi cleanses. I think what Viva needed is some kind of more utility traits. Because I feel like if you look at Tempest, if you look at Catalyst, they have crazy utility traits. Viva has damage traits, and that's about it, you know. There is almost no utility in there. That's really weird. So I think they really missed the mark there on the balance patch. I think there's nothing for Viva, and that's really sad. You have Guardian, but I suck at it, and since I tested that new heavy armor class before it launched, I thought it would be nice to main it. Yeah, I mean, then you should probably go for Revenant. It's really fun to play. I like Revenant a lot. It's probably my favorite heavy armor class. It will get huge buffs in the next balance patch, so there are so many builds you can play then. It's amazing, and it's not by far, but it's very easily the best build that you can use for solo play and PvE. So amazing for starting out the game. So have fun with it. I have a lot of build guides on my channel. You can just follow them and check out how it works with a decent build, and you will have a lot of fun with it. After I understood how to play Chronomancer healer, I never killed my friends in Fractals again. Yeah, it's really, Chronomancer is like absolutely broken. I play it here right now. I'm not the healer, but still, it's amazing. It's really good, and I will play it for sure later as well, probably on Fractals as well, just because it's so strong. I play it almost every time because it's really carrying your group. It's crazy good. The cleanse is good for World vs. World roaming Viva. I play a hammer version and the cleanse is quite bad. Yeah, exactly. I think it solves the issue of the cleanses on Viva, but I would say that's not the only thing that Viva needs. You know, it needs some kind of stability access, and that's really bad if you don't run the stability stance, and if you don't run Earth, you don't have any stability access on Viva, which is obviously really, really bad in competitive modes. And the stances help with the Condi cleanse, that's good, but you still have the stability issue. So I feel like, yes, Viva is okay in some scenarios, but as soon as you encounter crazy CCs, you're just dead. That's just sadly the truth. And that's okay, you know, builds can have a weakness, I get that. But I feel like currently, if you don't have any stability on a bruiser build, it's like it's a death sentence, I feel like. Or at least you have to have a lot of stun breaks, and Viva doesn't have that either. So, yeah. Welcome, Mr. Mo. Welcome. Tempest traits are so good. Yeah, Viva is so bad. Also, they really need to rework the specific Viva weapon abilities. Yeah, I think the problem is that the spear ones are really mediocre. You know, if the spear ones would be really good, that would be amazing. You know, that would be a crazy good buff and a crazy unique thing to Viva. But the spear ones are actually just not that crazy good. And that's a problem. So you really don't get anything for playing that. And you get actually punished a bit as well. So, yeah, Kata has amazing stability access, you know, and crazy blast finish and that kind of stuff, where Viva doesn't have anything. So why would you play a Viva if you can play Tempest with the crazy traits, or Catalyst with the crazy broken sphere and the stability? You know, why would you? And that's a problem, you know, that's a big problem. So I feel like it's really overshadowed by its other elite specs, you know, and that's something that you don't want to see, because that's always a problem, because then even the people that enjoy Elementalist will maybe not even play your subspec. Yeah. And that's what they not address, you know. That's the only thing that they didn't address on Elementalist, I would say. They buffed Tempest, they actually buffed, to some extent, make Catalyst with Hammer even better, but Viva is nowhere to be seen. Some changes to Viva. That's the sad truth here. Yeah. On my Tempest, I also don't even play that Overload step trait. I honestly don't need that. Yeah, that's the interesting part about Tempest. You can play it in different variants. You don't need the Overload step trait, because sometimes you don't even want to overload that much. You can use it for stun break more often than not, and don't finish casting it. I think there are many ways to play it. That's really good. Does Revenant require high actions per minute? Because my hands are a little dysfunctional. Not totally, but my nerves disabled from... Yeah, I mean, so... And Revenant can be played very, very low APM builds. So it depends, of course, what kind of content you want to do and what kind of builds you want to do. But I would say I have builds on my YouTube channel, especially, for example, Quick DPS Herald. It's actually really low APM. You know, you can actually use just the auto attack and a few utility skills, and you actually upkeep 100% quickness, for example, which is your job with this role. It's actually really, I would say, easy, and you can slowly increase what you want to do and what you want to fill. And it's actually, I would say, good spec for that. Might not be the absolute best, but a very good one for sure. Welcome, Aleshana. I get the Nourish. Can you add to wardrobe the potion and use it with a shortcut? Yes, you can do that. I have it here. Just use it with a shortcut, pressing this button or something like that. And you actually can use it on a shortcut. Just be aware though, you have to always redo that. That's the annoying part whenever you map change, or I think when you die as well. I think there are multiple things. Even when you mount, I think you have to redo it. So always when you engage a fight, you have to do this transformation. But if you if you remember it, it's actually not that bad. You have the keybind with it, and you can easily get it done. Yeah, good point. Yeah, I'm personally, I think I was always advocating for rework to weaver, you know, completely rework the traits. You know, I think that the design of the weaving between your skill 3, I think that's completely fair. You know, I also think the utility skills are not that bad. I think the traits are the problem on weaver. I think weaver needs some traits that make it unique, you know, that give them some strength that other elementalist specs don't have, while it's not buffing. I think weaver is the bruiser spec, sorry. And I think that's something that they really need to give it in the traits, you know? If you don't have any traits that support you in terms of bruiserness, so to say, it's like, why are you playing it then? You can easily play a Catalyst and be a bruiser as well. Or you can even play a Tempest, which is, so to say, the support spec by original design, and you can still play it as a bruiser. Weaver is designed by design as a bruiser because it doesn't have any support capabilities in its kit. And it still does do it worse than the others. So I think they should completely rework like 6 out of the 9 traits, personally. I think that's how they should do it. Mostly buff it, but just reworking it would be also a big help in my opinion. How would you recommend getting Karma? So Karma is something that is really hard to farm. I think just doing a lot of events, playing open world with a lot of events like meta events, or going into World vs. World, going a lot of events there, or just waiting for Winter's Day. Winter's Day has the only one where you can really farm it quite easily. I have a guide on it, but currently it's not Winter's Day. It's always in the December, January. And that's the best thing to get Karma, I would say. Welcome, Jay, welcome. Glad you enjoy my content. Barbaniver's Relic is totally fine on my own warrior build. I like it also because I don't know what relic to use on one warrior. Yeah, exactly. That's the cool part. If you have no other relic that you would run anyway, then it's actually a really good choice on classes that have stances. But I personally think on classes that have better relic choices, for example on, I don't know, maybe Soul Beast, it's not the best option. I think it's a decent option. I think you can make it work because it's really overtuned in terms of how many Condi cleanses it gives you. But I think it's not necessary on those classes where you have other relics like Blightbringer 1, or even the Demon Queen could be worth it or something. You have so many choices in Soul Beast, so I'm not sure if you would drop it there. But on classes like Warrior, where we don't really care about your relic because they are not that crazy good anyway, it's actually a decent choice. I agree. Yeah. Do you by any chance know about some discounts on the expansions? Yes, so typically the expansions go on sale every 3 months, so it should be up very soon. So if you wait a bit, you can actually buy them in a bundle and get them quite cheap. I don't know when it will happen next time, but quite soon, I would guess. I mostly like range classes, so most heavy classes don't have it or isn't that good. Like Mech Rival hits a lot of mobs at the same time. Do you like melee classes or do you also skip it because always running close combat? I mostly... So the thing is, in Guild Wars 2, every class can be played ranged or melee, but I personally like to play all classes. I want to switch it up, and I don't say I only play melee class and that kind of stuff. So I play every class, otherwise I would have quit the game already. Yeah. Yeah, the portal is like, the portal achievement, you know, I like that they did achievements and stuff, but the portal thing is like, I saw it when others have it, and I personally don't really care that much to go for it because it's so bad, you know, it doesn't help me that much. It cleans some of the inventory slots, but it's not helping in terms of how many clicks I have to go through to get to the new map. It's horrible. I don't like that design. Yeah. And it just dropped the nuke and announced Guild Wars 3 already. The update is underwhelming. It's way worse than Living World Season 4, but with a price tag. Yeah. I think at this point, people, before the patch, I had people on stream that said, no, Guild Wars 3 will not come out. And after the patch, they actually admitted it doesn't look good. It's actually quite likely that Guild Wars 3 will come out because the patch is just so underwhelming. You cannot tell me that Guild Wars 2 is currently the main game that, let's say, around 400 developers are actually working on. That's just not, that you can't tell me that, you know. Yeah. Do you have any guides or tips how to start making gold from the beginning? So just level your first character. That's what I would say, to level 80. And then you start doing strike missions like I do. I have a top 10 guide on what the gold farms are. You can start then at level 80 instantly. You can also watch my what you should do every day video or what you should do every week. Those are really easy things to do every day, every week to actually get a lot of gold. And if you just play for 1 hour a day, don't have to play every day, but if you do it consistently, you get like 500 gold or even more per month if you play consistently. That's actually really, really good. You just have to do this stuff and stick with it. That's how you play Guild Wars 2 and make gold. That's my tip there. Is it worth to do daily Ice Blue Saga with Dragonstorm? Or should I do only the priority strikes? I personally would say if you have a decent group, which you should easily get, it's like 15 minutes and you get decent amount of gold. So I would do Ice Blue Saga 5, definitely. Dragonstorm, yeah, do it when you like it, but if you don't like it, you can skip. It's like, definitely do the 5 Ice Blue Saga 5 strike missions. Those are really important. So yeah, definitely go for those. I think that's what we're gonna do now as well. Let me set up the squad 1 second. Imagine if they added a cool cinematic at the end of it. It would, I would imagine people would be less disappointed. Yeah, I think the problem is that the story and the meta event are just very underwhelming in terms of not. Personally, I think the gameplay is okay, but the problem is that it's not really feeling like the end of the big expansion. It feels really underwhelming in terms of it's the big end, you know? There should be some explosiveness or something interesting there, but it's not. And that's a problem. That's a problem in my opinion. Yeah. Welcome Snowdrop, welcome, welcome. Welcome Scorpion in the squad. Oh, a lot of people coming here. It's Alacrity heal we have here, good. DPS, Scorpion is DPS, okay. Sparrows is quick DPS, I guess. Very good. So we need another quick DPS. So I play heal then, I guess, again, as always. Okay, I'm up for the hot take. I'm really up. Can I do those strikes if I only get that first 2 expansion bundles? Is it like that? Is it like that? I think you need to. I think you need the Ice Blue Saga ones. I'm not sure. Maybe someone in chat actually knows it. If you need which kind of Ice Blue Saga ones you actually to get the Ice Blue Saga strike mission, which expansion you need. I think it might be Path of Fire, I'm not sure. So hopefully it's all covered now. Yeah, looks good. The Lake of Mistburn is maybe even good on Warrior if that procs that one specific trait where you heal yourself and you apply might. That's true. That's interesting. Good interest. Yeah, true. Good point. I might have to do that. Welcome, Scorpion. Welcome. Yeah, I know that you're on the stream. You can't tell me a 3 months patch has no single new asset while 400 devs simultaneously work on it. Yeah, exactly. I think if someone now says in my face they are not working on something in the background, it's like they can't, they play it without a monitor, you know? This is such a small patch and there are almost 400 people working at ANET. They can't do that in 3 months, you know? That's like if, let's say, a fourth of the employees worked on that patch, it's probably a lot. I have to be honest. It's actually insane. I can't see that really, that being the case. It's crazy. Yeah, that's really. I will try out the Warrior trait. I agree that this is a really interesting thing. Maybe I can try it out. I think it works probably better in World versus World than it would be in PvP. But maybe I can make it work in PvP as well. Interesting. Yeah, I agree. In the new meta, players are destroying lungs and other organs, right? Maybe this is just subliminal messaging from ANET that open world players are cancer destroying the game. Yes, I think that is a very hot take. I agree. I'm not sure if that's the case. I think it's the story of it is. I think I didn't even listen too much, but I think the story of it is more about the Titans and stuff. But maybe you are onto something there. Path of Fire is before Iceblood Saga strike missions? Yeah, okay. Mobile game developer can do more content in just a few weeks. I guess. I'm really surprised how little amount of content they put out with so many people. I agree on that one. So I did it. Because those PvE community is damn toxic. Yeah, that's the interesting part. I really want to mention that as well. When I upload a video and it's like about balancing and stuff, and I just say something like power creep is too much and stuff, then especially the people that only play open world say, no, power creep is really good. We need that. It's really important. It's actually crazy. It's really crazy. Those are the most toxic players on my YouTube comments in terms of PvE. I'm not joking. It's really that. It's crazy. What class did you have most fun on? So currently I play a lot of Mesmer in PvE because it's absolutely broken. But I play all the classes. Please wait for the ready check next time. But I personally think Mesmer right now in PvE is absolutely amazing. If you enjoy the class fantasy, it's absolutely recommended to play that one. It's really good. How is the new Fractal? I think the new Fractal is decent. It is on, I would say, on my rating, it would be in the middle. You know, it's not crazy good, but at least it feels more like a dungeon again. It's not like a single strike mission boss and that's it. It feels more like a dungeon. It's a little bit too, it doesn't have too many mechanics in it. Maybe the challenge mode has that then, but I feel like it's at least it does the Fractal sense again, in my opinion. It might not be, you know, the one that I say I would like to do every single day, because it doesn't have that uniqueness like a Nightmare one or like Shattered Observatory personally. But at least, you know, there is some kind of progression through the rooms and not like that's just one boss fight. I think that's not how Fractal players want to play it. Yeah. My mobile game does have much more content. Well, to be honest, I guess they also make much more money. Yeah, obviously you have to be careful what you wish for, but I would say mobile games are also, they make a lot of money by doing that. It's fine, it's fine. Sometimes it happens when you go into the boss and your NPC starts it. That's okay. Just take care of it next time. In general, I would say mobile games are not comparable to MMO PC games, but still, I think the amount of content they put out is surprisingly low. Yeah. That's the thing that I am surprised for sure. Is there any recommended class for OSC ping 200-ish? Also any tips to dodge wave in Harvest Temple? So personally, I think I would not dodge the wave. That might be a really hot take, but I personally think it's way easier even on higher ping to jump the wave. Because dodging the wave requires you to dodge through the wave. Because if you dodge in the other direction when the wave is coming like that, you will dodge with the wave. So you always have to make sure that you dodge in the correct direction. If you just jump the wave, you can jump it very easily. And that's also not, I think jumping is very easy to do, in my opinion. And therefore, that's my recommended way. And I think classes in terms of what you would play in PvE, personally, I think you can play any class with higher ping. If it's consistent at 200, it might not be the best feeling, but at least you can do it. In terms of PvP, I would not recommend to play a class that is a lot of instant skills, like typically Mesmer, Thief, and maybe even Elementalist. Those have a lot of instant cast skills. Don't use those classes because that's way harder to play than. If you play a class that is, so to say, like a Warrior, like a Revenant, that have less instant casts, then you will be better off in competitive modes. So I personally would recommend going for those classes then if you enjoy them. But to be honest, in PvE, every class can be played if you adjust to your ping. It's not too bad. It's just, it takes a while, but you will get there. That's my take there. People don't like to hear that they're 8k DPS. Isn't that all that special? Do you refer to anyone special there, or why is it exactly 8k? No, I'm obviously, I agree. I think it's like people don't want to hear that it's not that good to not get more damage than just using your auto take, even though you press a lot of buttons. Yeah. And that's definitely, in my opinion, a problem that people in Guild Wars 2 are really like, they want to play casual and stuff, but they don't care if someone wants them, or if they want to get the loot in like convergent CMs, or even when, how is it called, Dragon's End came out for the first time, that you have to do a little bit of organizing. Don't even play better, just organize beforehand. If people don't want to hear that, because that's too toxic, that's too elitist to do that, even though it's like no effort and no one actually has to do more skilled things. So it's actually, yeah, big problem in the community. It's everything that is optimizing stuff is toxic. Yeah. I think that's not that much of a hot take, to be honest, that the new map and the meta event sucks. I think, I'm not sure, maybe we should start a poll or something, but I think a lot of people here in the chat actually would agree that it's not that great, at least to say the least, yeah. I can definitely say that. And I'm with you. I'm not a big fan of the meta event, and I think the new map is unique, yes, but it's not fun. I don't like it that much. You know, I would have rather, to be honest, a lowland shore map without a meta event there again. That would have been way more preferable, I would say. Really, you have seen some White Knights that really think that's a good map? Because I think it might be the argument that it's okay, but that's really a good map? Really? There is someone that says this is a really good map? That sounds like illusional, I would say. I soloed the Fractal yesterday and it actually changed my mind. It's the Silver Week pass with additional mobs and a cheap Whispers of Jermak copy. But the positioning as Fractal 95 can make it the perfect introduction to CM before you progress comparatively harder CMs. And that's interesting idea. I mean, it depends obviously a little bit on how the CM looks like, because if the CM is like crazy hard, then it's probably failed. But if it's like comparatively easy to Nightmare and stuff, then it's actually, I agree, the positioning then can actually save you there. So if you stand here in the middle when you have a Chronomancer support, then you can have no problems. You know, this perma stability here is insane. And then you can easily cleave them down without too much of an effort, just for those guys that don't know. But we have good DPS here, I like it. They say it's good, as they would say for everything ain't it does. Crazy. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I love the game. I would highly recommend, if you don't play the game yet, play it. It's really fun. It's amazing. It has crazy good combat, has a lot of content to do. It might not have the best content updates anymore, but it has crazy content, I would say. But I also criticize the game, and that's something that I really want to point out here. I criticize the game because I love it. I want to get more good content and not more bad content. Thanks for all the follows, by the way. I really appreciate it. It felt empty on release, and that's rare for new content. The meta is horrible, not gonna lie. Yeah, I agree. I think I can't really grasp why I don't like the map itself, but the meta just feels very boring. It doesn't have any interesting mechanics. It has a reused asset, which is okay if the fight itself would be good, but after that, it's like just fighting structures, and that's horrible. I don't like that. And I feel like if it's already like that, I think in let's say a month or something, no one will play that map anymore. That's horrible. It's really bad. I don't like that. Welcome. I'm a returning player. I used to play Thief, but I really dislike the no cooldown playstyle. Are there any classes you would recommend you instead? I mean, you should go for the class that you enjoy. So I have if you type !classes in the Twitch chat, there's a link to a video where I showcase all of them. So you can just go for the one that you actually enjoy. From the design perspective, from the fantasy. Because all classes can be played really interestingly, yeah. But personally, I would say you should go for the class that you enjoy and not take a look at the meta, because the meta is something that can change. The builds might change. If you enjoy the class, that's what you should go for first. And every class can be played in every single game mode. And Thief is maybe one of the weaker ones in competitive modes, but in PvE, all classes are very, very easy to be played. So keep that in mind. I can't imagine that actually crank up the difficulty too much. Would be weird going from 95 to 96. Yeah, I agree. I think that's not very likely. I agree. It feels half finished, just like the entire expansion. I mean, if at all half. You know, it's like if you compare, there was a Reddit post I think yesterday or something about that season 4 had in 17 months 6 maps, 3 raid wings, multiple legendaries, 3 fractals or something like that, and now we get like 2 small maps and almost 1 fractal and 1 half raid. or one raid with reused stuff. So it's actually, comparison is crazy. It's actually insane. You can clearly see that they are not working on Guild Wars 2 alone. That's impossible, in my opinion. Yeah, sure. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm always happy to answer questions for new players, of course, as well. But I just want to say that this video is probably better suited than my stream right now, because people really want to talk about the patch, and I think that makes sense. But if you have any questions, please ask. I'm always open for that, of course. You should be more clear what you are looking in class. Then we can recommend something. That's true. Good point. And it's always like, play the one that you enjoy. And if you have very detailed questions, then we can answer it. But if you just say, which class should I play? It's really hard. Veterans like me play a lot of classes, and you just have different things to try. And then you will actually find something that is enjoyable for you. Don't worry. The massive changes are coming on 24th of June, so in like 2.5 weeks or something. Yes, they will be really fun. I will do probably a lot of content, probably way more content about the patch than the current new patch with the map. It's actually quite interesting that this will probably be more content for me than the real content release. But yeah, that's just how it goes, I guess. How important is the opener in rotation? It's the most important part. Because you will do that every time some fights are over before the opener's over. It's the most important part. I really hope they're not working on some mobile game. That would be horrible. I would agree. I would totally agree. That would be really, really bad. If it's not Guild Wars 3, ANET is cooked. I would say at least 80% chance that it's Guild Wars 3. At least. Yeah, I agree. NCSoft tend to do this, releasing mobile games instead of following up, just like they did with Blade & Soul. Oh my god, yeah, that's just such a killing blow. I think that would be the end of ANET, to be honest. I mean, it could be, of course, a crazy good mobile game, but I think it would be crazy. I have to be honest. Yeah, Aura Share will be really good with the next patch, I agree. Living World Season 4 is the best story content in the entire game. I mean, it's not only the story, it's also the maps and stuff is really good. Back then, it was not, people didn't like it. For example, Corner was horrible, but most of the story and most of the stuff that we got was actually good. There was some outliers, of course, but most of the stuff was actually quite good. Very good. There we go. Last boss. Okay, let's go for the CC. No, didn't get it. It's fine. Yeah, but you can't compare that, in my opinion. Season 4 was supposed to be the end. Yeah, I agree. I don't want to make this comparison. I'm just in the sense that it's a straight up 101 comparison. I'm just saying, people, it's just a proof, so to say, for people that wanted to hear that it's possible that they are only working on Guild Wars 2. That's, in my opinion, if you make this comparison and really look at it, I think it's almost impossible to make that statement, because it's like they already had people working on Guild Wars 2 for the, let's say, the full-fledged amount of people that they have, all the employees. And then they actually had it, so to say, that they could put out this much amount of content. So in my opinion, it's very unlikely that this is the case right now, that they are working full time. Everyone in the Arena team works on the expansion or the new update. That's just, in my opinion, it feels almost unlikely. That's my proof there. It's not, I don't want to make the comparison just for the sake of the comparison. It's just a point of my argument, in my opinion. Yeah. I think we are through. Yeah, obviously they should make it maybe core or bind it. Yeah, maybe they should make it like it's really easy to access the Living World Season 4, so that people would be more intrigued to buy an expansion. Just buy any expansion, you get it. I'm not sure. Maybe it's already in there. Interesting. Interesting idea. Yeah, I think they should just include all the expansions in a bundle with all the Living World. You know, that's how it should be, in my opinion. But they want to sell them. I think that's one of the best things to actually go for in the, how is it called? In Guild Wars 2 right now. One of the best things to go for in the Gem Store is the bundle with the Living World Season 2, Season 3 rather, Season 3 and Season 4, those are really good. There are a lot of value that you get from the gems, so always go for that as a new player. I hope Ainet doesn't give into the mobile greed stuff. I hope so too. They definitely work on something. We barely see any devs appearing other than the usual 2-3 people. Yeah, that's the interesting part, you know. I really want to have some community interaction, you know. I like the balance team. I think that's the only one that actually interacts with us on a 3-month basis. But I would like to see the game director. I want to see people that work on other stuff in the background and give their interesting, just make it half an hour streams or something. That would be really cool, or just a blog post. They did that a while ago, but they completely stopped like 1 year with that. It's like only the balance team, and it's really sad. It would be so amazing. I agree. Let me hydrate for a second. Yeah, the healing power is not good. You should not run it with healing power, Norm Expert, that's correct. Living Worlds are pretty expensive for gems if no sales. Yes, they are expensive, but you get a great amount of content, you know? You get like 6 maps with them, you know? 6 maps. And you get, so to say, a lot of achievements, a lot of story. It's like a lot of value, you know? And you can get it in-game. That's why I put it so highly. But I can see why you would say it's not perfect. Yeah. And it should also put Soto and Shanti into Living World category because it's not worth called an expansion. Yeah, I personally would agree with that one, that those expansions are not feeling like expansion. They feel more like an battle pass, so to say, upgrade to the game. You get some more stuff, and especially the features like the weapon mastery proficiencies thingy and how's it called? Chante Wilds with the spear. Those things you get because you buy the expansion. But the maps and stuff feels like such a worse version than an expansion. It's even feels worse than a Living World for the most part. That's the crazy part. Yeah. Yeah, but what's the selling point to do so? How do they want someone to spend $100+ or whatever currency they use? They have really shit marketing. Yeah, I agree. I agree. They would be destroyed if they did any live stream. The vocal guild was 2 community can be super toxic. Yeah, that's the problem. I think that's a big problem. That the community in Guild Wars 2 in the game for the most part is somewhat nice. But a lot of times on streams, people are really toxic to the developers. That's just very bad. That's just why? Why? Don't do that. Be friendly. They are doing the making the game better for you, you know? So, I don't know. Bonus Meal Guild Wars 3 marketing campaign will be an Uber ad in which Roy will deliver Tigger-shaped pizza to people and talk them into playing Guild Wars 3. To be honest, if they would embrace that meme, I actually think it would be a better marketing than what they ever did before. I'm so brutally honest here. It's just the marketing is horrible. If existent, it's horrible, and just embracing memes would be a big step up, you know, at this point. I agree. Any idea when the next sale is going to happen? I think it should be quite soon. The anniversary sale, yeah, probably in August will probably be the next one. Yeah, good point. Yeah, it's quite long, but I think it's better than waiting. I mean, it depends, of course, how much you need the sale. But I would say if you have, there's other stuff to do in the game, and if you really need it right now, then maybe you have to pay it anyway. So, yeah. There is no big answer to that. So Snowdrop, do you want to do Fractals, or are you otherwise up for something else? Today it's really nice Fractals, you know, Siren's Reef. No. Sure, take your time. Guild Wars 2 should do ads on Reddit, YouTube, Twitch. The problem is that I think they did ads for Chantia Wilds, and what did they showcase? They showcased the story. And to be honest, the story of Chantia Wilds is, I wouldn't say the worst that they ever did, but it's not on top there, yeah? And even if you are a story enjoyer, I'm not sure if you're sold because of the story ad that you got. I think they should just make ads for the new gameplay, the combat and stuff, but they never do that. It's more like, always like, for the story. And do people really see this trailer and say, I have to play Guild Wars 2? You know, do it for combat, show the open world stuff where people, like 90% of the people play open world, you know, do that. That's way more interesting. I really think that's what they should do. But I think the marketing department has different opinions on what they want to do, and it's not always, yeah, not very good. Will there be any festival soon? Yes, there will be one coming quite soon. I think the Dragons Bash one is coming soon. And after that, we get the Festival of the Four Winds as well. Yeah, it has a very good combat, and they should market it with that, for sure. Yeah, I agree. It's 600 gold. It's pretty expensive. I agree. But the thing is, you can get it in the game. You know, you can get like an expansion in the game. Tell me any other game that gives you like expansion content with in-game stuff. It's amazing, in my opinion. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah, they don't. The thing is, they don't do advertisement at all. Just at the beginning of when an expansion drops, sometimes they do an advertisement, but that's the only thing that I got. Some advertisement like 2 weeks before Chantewals dropped, but not anything other than that. That's really bad. I agree. And with the Living World Season 4 maps, you can actually farm a lot of gold. It's actually insane. So you will actually get value back from that. So let's see is we can go for how much thing you can set it up if you want Snowdrop. I can fill the rows that's needed, and you can just look for how many KP you actually think it's necessary. I think I'm still the point that the Living World Season stuff is really worthwhile to get. You know, especially if you're someone that enjoys story, then it's amazing. If you enjoy new maps, it's amazing. If you want to farm gold, it's amazing. I think it's really, really worthwhile to get. And that's my point, yeah. Thanks, Snowdrop. Living World content is 1,000 times better than Soto or Chantewals, and Living World is basically free. Yeah, exactly. That's the point. You can't purchase Chantewals or Soto with gems. You know, if that would be the case, then I would say, then actually I'm not too sad about it, because then it's like Living World with some features in there. But now, currently, you actually get the expansions, and you get less than with the Living World content, but you get the feature of the weapons with Soto. You get the feature of the spear with Chantewals. That's what you're actually paying for. You're not paying really for content. That's the crazy part. That's the insane part. Yeah. Yes, if you're a quick DPS, just join our squad or party, and we will get the fractals done. Easily 100 gold per day. Even Wizard's Waltz gives you a good amount of gold. Yeah, of course, it depends a bit on how much effort you put in the game. If you play like once or twice a week, then it's not that easy to get that much gold. But if you're playing every day, then you can actually get amazing, so to say, content and still get a lot of gold just passively from playing the game every day or so. Yeah. If you're exchanging, when there is no good TP sales, exchange rate is not too bad. Exactly. I think in general, that it exists in the first place, this exchange, the currency exchange, is a really good thing. But of course, right now it's quite high, but it will go down at some point again. And if you do it then and save up like I do, always have some gems just in case that something drops, you can actually get decent value from it. So keep that in mind, of course. Yeah. Exactly. Fractals are amazing, even if you just start out one. Just do daily fractals, they are really good. If you go up like I do with tier 4 fractals and CMs, you actually get over 50 gold per hour by doing them. It's amazing. So keep that in mind. Yeah. I mean, it's for me, it's always quite high. It's like, if you look at the graph of this one, it would start like here, and over time it goes like a linear way up. But there are some dumps down. But of course, I'm talking about the very early days when I bought like over 200k gems or something with gold for my wardrobe unlock stuff. Then I had it like way lower. But of course now it's higher. I agree. It might be a low actually right now. Sometimes it's over 200 gold. Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying sometimes it can be really high. Sometimes it can be really low. I don't have a feeling for it right now. I have to be honest. I always pay for new maps I like to have and explore our classes. Yeah, exactly. That's the cool part, that you actually get for this gold that you have there. You actually get just content, you know, get content for gold. But who wouldn't do that if you want to have more content in PvE, you know? The only thing that you won't get is features. But, I mean, you even get legendaries with it. So it's crazy good, I would say. I'm actually close to you in gold right now. Sold my eternity yesterday. Nice, good job. Yeah, I don't have that much gold lying around. Like, that's the sad part. I mean, I have liquid gold like 25k, but I don't know where it is. You know, I lost it on my 70 characters, I think. So, yeah. I don't really care right now. I don't have any goals to go for, but I will do a big giveaway very soon. We are very close to 1k followers on Twitch. So as soon as we reach 1k followers on Twitch, I actually will do a 1k gold giveaway. So be ready for that one. It doesn't look like anyone wants to join today. Very sad. I also wanted to craft the new weapon. That's true. Also now with Chantia Wilds map, you can get really nice gold by selling the weekly mats. Yeah, that's the interesting part as well. I think if you look and try to be interested, so to say, try to keep up with the news and how people are playing it, then you can actually get a lot of interesting money-making methods just by being up of, so to say, keeping up with the current economy. That's the interesting part. I need a lot of those. I think I need a lot of those for the new staff. I want to get this new staff. I don't have the new staff yet, but I want to get it. So the new staff is the pink one. It's really cool. And I don't have it yet, so I want to craft it. So let's prepare for it a bit. I think it needs this one. Let's check. Yes, that's it. 250 of those, so I need a lot of ancient wood. Ancient wood. Nice, we did it. Very good. Yeah, if you played Boon DPS or support, you find groups very easy. You know, I'm always filling the heal role because I'm not trusting other healers, but it's very, very easy to actually get it going. Let me swap character, please. Yeah. And getting into fractals is, especially the CMs, might be a little bit harder to do so, but for the most part, I would highly recommend getting into fractals. It's really, really good. Have you gotten the new Gobbler item? Do you like it? So I haven't gotten it, but I'm working on it. But I personally say I don't like it that much because it's not helping me in most sense. It's giving me more inventory spaces. That's about it, you know? And that's not always something that you really want. You know, the problem is it's giving you more inventory spaces, but the convenience that it gives you because you have to click to multiple, what's it called, multiple windows, it's not perfect. I think it's not. I will talk about it in a video yesterday, or tomorrow rather, sorry, where I talk about how I think the balance or this patch in general is and the items are and that kind of stuff. But I personally think they could have done a way better job with those items, with the portal tom and this kind of stuff, that you now have to use 3 clicks instead of 1 to get, for example, to Aberstone is horrible. You know, for me personally, it would be way better if it's a single item that you can click once and you go to Aberstone. You don't have to do it in 3 different ways and 3 different points to actually get there. It's not, in my opinion, not really worth it for me. But that's just coming from someone that has way too much inventory anyway. Yeah, I mean, of course, don't get me wrong. It's a good item. I'm happy that we got it. I just think they could have done a way better job personally. You know, that's what I feel like it should be said here. Well, you have a lot of shared slots. I get where you're coming from. Yeah, exactly. You know, that's obviously I might be in a, let's say, a privileged position there, but I just think if they do this feature, why not just make it a nice UI and not have this like clicking through stuff, you know, popping up, doing another pop-up and stuff that would, I don't like that in that sense, you know, but why do it like that? But I guess that's what their thing is all about. So I don't know. That's how they do it. Apparently they don't have more resources to put into this. I think it's better than nothing, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying they could have done a way better job by putting a little bit more effort in, personally. Of course, I'm not a developer, so I can't tell them if that's really easy or worth it. But I think it seems a waste, in my opinion, of cool, perfectly fine ideas, you know. But I'm always up. I think the most important thing for me in the game a lot of times is having more convenience. You know, that's why I have 70 characters after all. So personally for me, it's always like better having more convenience than not having any at all. If it's not perfect, yeah, that's okay. But better having more convenience for sure. Yes, so exactly. I use it to sell chunk, the ectogamble thing. But it's one the goblet behind 5 clicks compared to 1. Yeah, that's horrible. That's why I wouldn't use it. I'm just perfectly honest. You know, it would save me inventory, but it would take me more time to actually get stuff done. So I would not use it. I'm not shocking there. That's the crazy part here. If something is time inefficient, I typically would rather have multiple slots filled in my inventory than not having the fastest way possible to get it. That's my take. That might be different for you, but that's my take on that, yeah. Yeah, it's classic ANET. It's classic ANET. They did something that is really cool, then they not iterate on it, but leave the first version that they put out. That's the only one that they actually include here. Yeah, that's how they do it. They typically have a cool idea that is not perfect yet, but they could easily improve on, but they just leave it completely. Yeah, that's how they do it. Half finished. Yeah, sadly the case. Nice. Let's do some DPS. Good, I did it. It's always the most challenging part of this fractal for me. Getting the DPS done. They messed up with the porting in the same map, takes ages. Yeah, that's weird. I agree. That the loading screens sometimes are really weird on this map. So let's buff up again. If I had so many shared slots, I would probably stick to the original version as well. Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to make my point clear, and if you're even agreeing with me, then then I would say it's perfectly reasonable. Sometimes I'm a weird guy and have different opinions on things that people are not really understanding. But if you even understand it, then it's probably a reasonable take, then not even a weird one. So. And I think it's very important. If multiple people have the same issue, then typically they should try to address that issue, you know. I like the quality of life in a lot of parts, what they added with this patch, but I feel like a lot of times they should either have done it earlier or should have done it a little bit better. Don't get me wrong, I think it's better than not having it at all. But for example, the hero's choice thing with the chest as well is also something that I personally think is not. They should have done that way earlier, or the Rift Essences, you know, that should have been in the game when they started it, you know, to introduce no Rift Essences. Why is it just now in the wallet? You know, that's just weird at this point. But, you know, I'm happy that we got it. That's my main thing here. Yeah, this fractal is not my favorite either. You know, it takes forever. It feels like there's nothing going on. We just do the same thing over and over and over. But what can you do? You know, it gives good rewards. And I personally enjoy doing fractals anyway, so. I still got the Gobbler because I don't have many shared slots. Yeah, I have to hurry a bit. But yeah, I personally will get both of them. Don't get me wrong. I'm just not in a rush because I personally don't have any crazy, you know, value from it. I'm just using it because I will get all the collections eventually. I don't think we can get the CC here. It's fine. Yeah, of course, it's good quality of life for people that don't have enough inventory spaces, but for people that have enough or don't care that much about using them, then it's not perfect. That's my whole point, you know. Maybe they improve on it, you know. That could be the first time that they actually improve on something after they released it. But I highly doubt it. It feels like this was done by someone that was actually working on something else just to get it done. You know, it could be like one of the UI guys said, yep, that's that's a cool idea, good quality of life, we will add that. But it's not something that they put like 10 hours in, you know, or how per day in the next few days. It's very unlikely, in my opinion. It's very much more so that they are just working on it in the background, you know, while they did something way more important on Guild Wars 3, for example. That's how it feels like. Just a band-aid fix for the most part. Yeah, exactly. They are way too late with a lot of the quality of life, which is not, I don't get me wrong, better late than never. But I personally think a lot of the stuff should have been in the beginning. You know, why did they think that people going for full legendary armor and stuff from the open world, why did they think they have enough space to go for a full character full of rift essences just to craft those? It's like, what? That's like, I have that, but like 99% of the community doesn't have that much space. You know, why? So it's like, so weird. At least now they did it. Now they did it, at least, yeah. We're talking 3-4 clicks. If you can't afford so much space, then it's not bad per se. Exactly, it's not bad. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad. But I'm saying 3-4 clicks is like, let's say 1 to 2 seconds. And I do that like, I don't know, multiple times a day. I'm not joking. I'm using this, yeah? So if no, don't leave me alone. So I'm not joking. If I sum that up over the course of a year, that's actually probably an hour or something of clicking, because I play the game a lot. So for me, that's actually, and that's the difference, you know, that makes a difference. Yeah. But I can of course see why people would rather save inventory spaces. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Maybe that's all tests for just Guild Wars 3, also the crappy Chantier and Soto and the creepy Alliance World versus Sets. Yeah, it could be. I mean, we mentioned that yesterday as well on stream. People said maybe it's all a test, and they try to run different features of Guild Wars 2 now that they are not sure if they work out, and see how they work in Guild Wars 2 because it's not really the main focus anymore. Maybe, yeah, could be. I'm not sure. It's definitely interesting. That Spectre's cooking? Yes. I mean, that's Spectre, you know, that's why Spectre is really good in CMs, you know. I like to see that. So let's see if we can get the CC again. Looks bad. Yeah. They didn't want to see us CC apparently here. Yeah, better safe than sorry, I guess. The open world legendary Soto is nice, yes, but even for me too late. If they added open world legendaries years earlier, even I would have my first legendary. Yeah, I mean, it's not. I think it was the main selling point of Soto. That's probably the case, and that's why they edited it. But I personally think it's not perfect. Oh, I do it. Yeah, but of course, you know, I can see your point. It's very late after 10 years, over 10 years of the game, adding something like that where majority of players are actually like already not playing anymore. Yeah, definitely, I can see your point. But if you craft the amalgamated essences, it was never a problem. Yes, but the thing is, the problem for me was that I wanted to craft it in one spot, and that's not always, you know, I want to have a clean crafting process, and not every single day I needed to craft those essences to not have them in my way, you know. That's oh, Snowdrop, I can't get you there. They killed you with the stuff. The puking. Sorry, I couldn't save you. Now we have to play it safe anyway. I made the light armor and never had any essences problem. I'm not saying that people typically have. I'm just saying if I want to craft all 18 pieces in one go, then I need to multiple characters almost of inventory. That's the problem. I feel like they should have thought about it earlier, that this is a currency that you get so often. Why not put it in like the wallet, you know? That's just my point here. But at least now they noticed it. That's the good thing here. Let's say you have smaller inventory and want to constantly sell your chunk and you need to click 5 times. Yeah, exactly. I can see why it can be annoying and why I see both sides. Yeah, definitely. Can't wait for Spectre Windy changes. Yes, I'm also very hyped for those. Elementalist, Spectre, and Vindicator. And also Scorch changes. Those 4 classes I'm really hyped about, and I will definitely make guides about it in the next patch. Will be really fun, and we'll try them out, of course, on stream as well. I like it. The Soto Legendary craft is also good. World versus World in PvP is already too much, so I never did that, even if it for years. Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool that we have now the option to go for different legendaries in different game modes. I think that's really cool. I also understood the beginning of in the game that they wanted to play to play different game modes, so that you actually can say, I actually mastered the game, so to say, to get the legendaries. You know, that's what they originally wanted you to have. But now it's like, no, we have players that only play a single game mode, so let's give them the legendary as well. And I see both points, and in any way they didn't change for no reason, so I think it's okay. I think they should now add all the legendaries to all game modes, so that you can, or at least for PvE, they should also make open world rings and that kind of stuff. I think they will do that maybe with the next expansion, maybe a legendary Aqua Breather, you know, everyone is waiting for that. So let's see what we get there. Nice, we got the CC. I hope that was the good decision here. Personally, I prefer to get my legendary armor in World vs. World. It might be a bit slower, but it's also chill. Yeah, I think it's really cool that you have the option to go for the thing that is better suited to your game style. I think that, or play style. That's the good part here. No, don't die on me here. So that's what I really like as well. I personally I think I have every single legendary armor path done at least once, so I know what's going on. But it's definitely, there are some things that are faster for some people, of course. So where is it? There. Very good. I can farm for 2-3 days and max the tickets and then chill reset. Yeah, I mean that's really cool. You know, I can totally see that. You know, I play every game mode and I will have easier times on others. Then that's just the normal way, and I think that's really good. That's good design. I just think they should have done it in the beginning, probably. Nice, we did no, actually without going out. That's really good. I like it. Nice. Good CC. 50k CC. Chrono is quite good, I would say. Chronomancer. Yeah. What would the people do if you don't have Chronomancer anymore? You know, they would fail the easiest fights. They should have made some alternative for the PvR armor. Yeah, in the beginning they should have done that. Now I think it's fine. Now it's fine. You can easily do all of them, I would say. You can go open world, you can raids, you can... I think World vs. World is also another option for casual content. PvP can be a bit annoying if you don't like PvP, but yeah. I want PvP or World vs. World trinket, so I don't have to do Aurora or Vision. Yeah, I think that's a good point, but the problem is, I'm not sure if they really care if PvP players have the option to do that. I think PvP is at this point not really likely to get this, and World vs. World at some point maybe, but even there I think they don't want to have that, you know? I'm not sure. Do you need extra stuff? No. No. No, no, no. But maybe, you know, I'm happy if that would be the case. You know, I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying I doubt it because they actually don't provide that much value anymore to the game. They don't add legendaries just out of nowhere. I think I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe they will, but I don't know. I would say it would be crazy if they would make raiding relevant again, but I think that's not gonna happen. I think they tried with Raidwing 8 and they saw that not a lot of people are actually interested, or not enough people are interested. So they will not. I do it. And they will not continue with raiding. I'm pretty sure. I would be surprised if we get a new strike mission. I think we will get a new convergence with the next expansion. But I think we might get a new fractal, but I think a new raid is something that is out of question. I think that's not gonna happen. I really don't see it happening, to be honest. I'm sad about it, but I don't think it's gonna work. Major LFG rework would be amazing. I think that's one of the coolest things they could do. I'm not sure if they will, because like you see with the UI, they typically don't even... Oh, I have to do the portal, sorry. Yeah, one of the features that they added was the quality of life feature, yeah, that I just talked about with the... How's it called? With the gobblers and stuff. And this is a really cool feature, but they did not add any new UI to it. Why is that? Maybe because it's difficult, maybe because they don't have the resources for that. But in any case, I think an LFG rework would not only require a lot of resources in terms of what they actually need for, how's it called? For the new UI, but also thinking about it beforehand, how we can structure it. And I'm not sure if they really have resources or time and effort for that. I would love to with the next expansion, but I really don't see it. I really think it's necessary, but it's actually, you have to do it quite well done, you know. And I really fear that they don't have the time for that. Yeah. Maybe they just need to increase the amount of gold that you get, and that would just make people more interested in raiding, I guess. Yeah, good. LFG is horrible. You know, LFG with the fractals is horrible, because that means that for the fractals, you actually need to, how is it called? You need to be tier 4 fractal level to actually see tier 4 categories. That's so bad. That means that people are just not getting into tier 4s. That's just so bad. It's such a bad design. Yeah, I definitely see that. So it's locked until you have the fractal level 75 already. So you need to go to fractal level 74, play it when you are 74 or something, and then you level up to 75, and then you can see the category. It's so bad because tier 3 hell is already there. So it's really hard to get out of there. Even if you wanted to do tier 4, you have to actually find people in map chat, which is just so old school. It's really, the design is just, it's just outdated and really bad. Really, really bad. Yeah. I do need a guild to grind that fractal levels. Yeah, it's so bad. It's so bad. It's like even people that have all the experience because they maybe had some guild runs going for that, they needed to farm the fractal level to see all the stuff in the LFG. It's so bad. I just can't stress that enough. They really have to do something about it. It's really downturning to players that actually want to play the game and get into fractals and stuff. It's not good. And that's the sad part, because fractals, in my opinion, is one of the content that you actually have in long term. You know, I do it almost every day, even though I have done it for the last, I don't know, so many years, you know, and it gives a lot of gold, but I think it's also fun. So why lock out people that might have played the game for years with this content by just having one bad feature that starts the game or the part of the game in the wrong direction? It's just bad in that sense. Yeah, but what can you do? You know, that's just, they apparently don't care too much about it. Tier 3 and Tier 4 is locked for me while having 150 agony resistance. Exactly. It's just weird system. Weird system. I've been doing Tier 4 for a long time, so I can't really remember. Yeah, obviously, that's like the classical veteran problem. You know, I can't remember doing leveling my first character either. You know, it's just so long ago. I don't know at this point. But I guess we have 2 scrappers, so I don't need the reflect, but still. Don't need to do the anomaly here. You can just skip it. As far as I remember, you just need to do 75 to unlock T4 without needing personal fractal level. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how this works. I haven't done it in like 10 years or something, so I can't tell you. But I just think it's really weird to unlock it. It should be visible and you should be able to join even if you don't have the fractal level, in my opinion at least. I should have done for some boon strip. Ah, we have throw mine. Very good. I like to do all the mechanics here because I'm just, I can support from range anyway, so why wouldn't I? Typically the ADPS does this mechanic that I just did, but... Yeah, of course, you have to spam in the map chat to get into fractals. It's very old school. That was way back in the old dungeon days. That's what you had to do. Standing in front of the dungeon and looking for people that are actually playing the same content as you. Yeah, very old school. Try doing tier 2 max difficulty to unlock the next tier. No, is it me? No, it's better safe than sorry. You should probably do it on a day when 75 is the daily rotation, if there's such a day. I mean, it could be recommended. Typically recommended should be 75 recommended is horrible, but if you find someone that actually does it, then it should actually be possible. Yeah, good point. Let's do a pre-stack. I don't have everything up because sad. Not full GG. It's fine. It's fine. I can understand it. I gave up on raids because of old guild stop. Yeah, I mean, it's after all, you're playing an MMO. What does that mean? MMOs are typically player-driven. So that means that if you don't have a community, you can play the game. Guild Wars 2 is very easily played as a solo player. Yes, that's true. But you will have more fun if you have a community. I think that's straight up true. If you have someone to play the game with, it's way more fun than just playing alone and not be able to join groups that easily or just have to pug it, because oftentimes pugging can be fun and chaotic. That's what I do on stream all the time. But it is not as efficient as if you would have, for example, a guild group. And maybe sometimes a guild group is even more fun as well. So yeah, that's just my opinion on it. It's after all an MMO. It's called a massive multiplayer online game. And that's called for a reason, you know. That's just for a reason, yeah, for sure. More spamming matchup for days just for 10 fractal levels. It's more frustrating. Yeah, I can feel you. It doesn't sound great, I guess. I'm happy that I have it already. You know, we can do it at some point if you're up for it. I don't have it, sadly. But it's not my favorite thing to do low-level fractals. I think I think the tier 4 fractals already are quite easy to do. And I think the low-level ones, I really don't go for Rex most of the time, just because I really don't find them that much engaging, and I don't need them. So I would rather go for something that is a little bit more rewarding. But I can help you out at some point for sure. Yeah, Arc CM is amazing. I think that's one of the coolest fights. I'm not sure if you meant it ironic here, but I think that I personally like Arc CM a lot. It's really fun. It's one of the best boss fights in Fractals, I think. The only one that might be more interesting is Nightmare CM, but all the others I think are really, really cool. Arc is amazing, and yeah, it's a cool fractal for sure. Yeah, raid legendaries is definitely something worth going for. Push, push, push. So nowadays we have everything legendary, not only weapons. Yes, you have like full legendary. I will showcase it after. I have every single slot in the wardrobe except the Aqua Reader is filled with legendary. So yes, that's correct. Which is obviously really cool. You have a lot of long-term stuff to go for. You know, full armor, weapons, relics, rune, sigils, trinkets, everything. Underwater weapons. That's really cool. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Ark is cool, but goddamn, I hate teaching him. Yeah, it's really hard to teach Ark because there's so many things currently going on. Oh no, we lost someone. That's bad. That's not nice. That's not nice. Now we have to look for people doing, I don't know. How's it? 96 CM? Yeah, thanks. Very good. Welcome, Echo Fox. You can join the last few CMs if you want. No, now it's too late. The last CM. Yeah, I'm also losing my hope that Guild Wars 2 expansions are actually good. I think they're okay. But I think, to be honest, I don't expect the new expansions to be any better than we got with the Chantia Wilds and Soto. I think they will stay at this quality level. I'm happy that we get some content, but I think you can clearly see that this is not the main focus anymore. It can't be. I mean, today the CMs were actually not that bad. Do we have a 30k DPS Dragon Hunter or do we have a 30k? We have a 30k KP Dragon Hunter. That's what we like to see, I guess. Oh, why do I have feedback? No. It's fine. We'll just have to take care when to give stability here, I guess. So let's concentrate a bit. I don't want to get my group wiped here. I mean, aquatic headgear is in Legendary with a cost of 500 gold would be fine. If it has a cool skin as well. Yeah, I think it would be really cool. I personally would really like that. But I think it has to be bound to some kind of new feature in the new expansion. I think it really, you know, why would you go for an aquatic thing just for completionist sake, I guess? But for the most part, I would personally say it should also have some cool aquatic maps with it where you grind for it. You know, why would you any other way actually get this? You know, it has to be fitted well in the expansion. You know, that's my take there. Yeah. There's 4 legendary sets you can choose from. Yes, that's true with the Wizard's World. Very good. There we go. In your opinion, what encounters, fights are most favorite in the game? So I personally think Encelos is a really cool fight. I really like Encelos, so the last boss of this fractal. I like the Ark fight, which is probably my most favorite fight in the game in terms of 5-person content. I think Lagos is my favorite raid fight. I think this is a really cool fight from a design perspective. I like it a lot. But I like, for example, basic open world meta events like Dragon's Dance, so the Heart of Thorns end boss. I like that as well. There are interesting fights all over the place in Guild Wars 2. I think that the interesting part is it's mostly older stuff. I don't like the newest additions to the game that much. I think the newest ones are often very basic in terms how they are designed and not very interesting new design, or if they are new design, it feels very bad. In terms of, look at Lonely Tower, I don't like the globule mechanic. It's a new mechanic, yes, but it doesn't look like that much fun to explain and to play it. So I play it sometimes, but I skip it most of the time because I don't like it, even though it's an interesting new mechanic. It's just not fun to play, in my opinion. And there are other things as well, you know. It's hard for me to actually point out things that are really, really good. The actual best thing with the Chantia finale is the Wizard's World reset. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm happy with the quality of life and that we got the new legendary and achievements to grind for. You know, the collections and stuff. That's something that I like. But other than that, yeah, I can see it, yeah. What's your least favorite? Oh, this list could be very long. I really dislike Silent Surf. The last boss, it's in my opinion very, very weak and very boring. I like a lot of meta events, not at all. There are some meta events like Path of Fire ones are just very boring, and the old school the world bosses, some of them are just very outdated as well. What's my least favorite encounter in general? I think the Epoch fight is horrible. So the open world meta event one, the how is it called, Spider Slayer or something. This is horrible. This is really, really bad. It's probably one of the worst ones they have ever done, in my opinion. Orchiala Delves is also up there. I don't like it that much. I have raided a lot in Guild Wars 2. I just don't do it on stream regularly. I also do raid trainings on stream sometimes, yeah. I have all legendary weapon armor in raiding, so I played a lot of raids, It's just not something that I do every day anymore. Twin Lagos CM is boring though, just jump off the platform. Yeah, the CM is not that crazy good, but I think the fight itself is amazing. I think it's really cool. I like bosses in general that have attacks that you can see the attack pattern and the attacks itself, and that's what you dodge, not mechanics. For a good example is, I like Lagos because they have cool attacks and you can dodge them, jump over them and that kind of stuff. But I don't like, for example, Aether Blade hideouts, so how's it called? Scarlet and Mytrin, the Mytrin strike mission, because it has, for example, in CM, it has this bomb mechanic and there's a lot of unnecessary stuff, splitting and stuff going on. There are not that many attacks that you have to dodge. It's more that you have to do mechanics all the time. And I like to have combat-focused fights without that many mechanics. That's my main why I like some fights. And it's the same for Arc to some extent. There are some things that are really, you can see the attacks and you dodge the attack. That's it. I like that design. Yeah, people don't seem to really. I really want to go for a raid training, but if people don't want to do it, then sadly I will not do it. That's just how it goes. It's like I need viewers that engage with the raid training. That's the case. So if no one is interested in that, we will not do it. People don't care about raids in general. Yeah, I think that's the reason why they will not do another raid. Raids in that sense is just not possible. I don't see that being ever relevant again, just because the amount of people engaging with raids is very low. It's very low, even with the Raid Wing 8. Yeah, if you need training, you can of course also join very dedicated servers, and you will be fine as well. It's like, there are a lot of nice training guilds or training discords out there. So if you really want to get into that, you find someone to do it with. But I wanted to do it on stream, but apparently people are not really interested in doing that. It's more about talking to each other, having fun, and I guess that's fine to me as well, Yeah, 1,000 magnetite shots, yeah. I mean, it's doable. It takes a while, but it's doable. I mean, if you do all raid bosses, it's like a week or something. With all the minis and stuff. Yeah, typical. I don't know. Yeah, you can do a lot of raid trainings. Previously, T-Pod, Blenix, all of those guys did raid trainings very regularly, but that was, years ago. At this point, almost like a decade ago when Heart of Thorns came out. But this is not the case anymore. The tryhard people are not really training that much anymore. They are just either not playing the game anymore. If they do, they are not really interested in doing it for new players, which is fine. That's how the game goes after all. But raiding is a big part of my MMO. That's sad. Yeah, it's complete. I agree. It's really sad because typical players that come from other MMOs really want to have this 5-person dungeon experience that you can get with Fractals, but the raid experience is something that you can't really get in Guild Wars 2 other than raiding. You can do strike missions and stuff that can be fine, but for the most part, I would say raiding in Guild Wars 2 is fun and it's really cool. There are a lot of cool bosses there, but the problem is the community is just not interested in that. The most amount of people in Guild Wars 2 just play open world, and that's clearly visible in terms of how many people are engaging in raids, because raids are just a step up from the open world that people are not willing to take, even if the loot is decent or if you can get legendaries. Nowadays, you can even get the legendaries from open world, so even less people are engaging with it. That's just how the time develops, you know, how it changes the interest of players. It's fair. Everyone can do what they want to do in the game, but it's sad to see if you come from an MMO perspective, for sure. Outside of wanting to do it, there's no real incentive to train people. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's okay, you know, I like to train people, but if there's no one actually willing to actually join the raid training at all, then I will not do a raid training. I need 9 people at least that are, or let's say at least 7, that are somewhat interested in raid training. And if no one is interested, then I will not do a raid training. I don't want to pack with people that are not even joining my Discord or my stream, because those people, they will probably fail to listen to my stuff anyway. So yeah. Yeah, it feels a bit like the game, at least the hardcore community is really leaving the game. That's a really sad part, but that's just, sadly, it feels like it. Yeah, it feels like it. How long does it take to do one raid? So that depends on the raids. Some raid wings can be done in like 10 minutes if you're really fast. Some others do like half an hour. It depends a bit. So typically I would say if you're a mediocre group, take like 20 to 30 minutes per raid wing if you're not failing. I would say on average 30 minutes, yeah, per raid wing if you are a little bit slower. Yeah. How, now that there's open world armor, less people bother with it? Yeah, exactly. And that's not something that you want to see, because then it's even less interested for a new player. Yeah. Because you want to have some incentives to go into those raids and have people joining it all the time. It's just not what's happening, you know. And it has been going downhill since EOD. I'm not sure if it's actually ANET or if it's just Guild Wars 2. You know, my hope is still that ANET is still very functional and they do a lot of cool stuff in the background. I just hope it's like they're focusing on another game since EOD launched. That's my hope. I'm really like that. I think early 2021. I really hope they started developing Guild Wars 3. If that's not the case, then I see ANET going downhill. I agree. Yeah. I mean, I did back then. I had a static. I played raids every single week with a static, every single raid boss. Yes. So I did a lot of raids back then. Don't worry. But now it's not. I don't engage with raids that much more. I pack it if I have interest and time for it, but it's not necessary at all. I don't get that much reward from it. So why would I try to go into a static if I don't have the time for playing like a full raid wing every single week? Yeah. It's ANET? Really? That would be horrible. If you're right there, Echo Fox, if it's really ANET, then yeah, that's something that I don't want to hear or see. I really hope it's not. I really hope it's not. Yeah, it's always like this has been the case for like the last years actually, that people didn't expect a lot and they were still still negatively surprised, yeah. And still get disappointed, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's ANET. I just want to be a positive, let's say, player and content creator. I don't want to doom all the time, because that's not healthy. And I think really want to stress that if you're a new player here, there is so much content to explore in Guild Wars 2. So don't worry about it. You know, that's the important part. If someone of the veterans actually say the game is not alive anymore, that's not true. For a new player, there's so much stuff to explore. So yeah, keep that in mind. I just want to point it out. Yeah, MMOs might not be the zeitgeist anymore. That can be true. I obviously I'm just a single player. I can't really tell if that's really the case. But if you look at the market analysis and stuff, maybe, yeah. Is getting the legendary armor from different game modes harder or easier? It depends on the game modes, but I would say all of them are somewhat easily doable. No, none of them is extremely hard. It's just some of them like take a little bit longer, like World vs. World, but you should go for the one that you actually will achieve in the end. Because if you enjoy the game mode like World vs. World, you might go and play it every single day. But if you have to force yourself to do a weekly raid every single week and you will drop after 3 weeks, then you will never get to the end. You know? If you have something that is more, so to say, your playstyle, and you will get it after 6 or let's say 10 weeks, then it's better to go for this one instead. Hope that makes sense. The open world one is a bit grindy, but it's might be the most easy one to achieve in that sense, because it's it doesn't require any skill, whereas the raiding one might require a little bit skill, because you obviously need to finish raiding. You know, you have to kill some raid bosses, which is not always trivial. Yeah. New players have the complete opposite problem compared to veterans. It's way too much to get into and they get overwhelmed. Yeah, exactly. And I try to help that with my YouTube channel, making guides about it, stream and answer questions that people have on stream and that kind of stuff. But it's not easy for a veteran like me to always find the perfect, so to say, thing where people actually are interested and get the help that they need. Yeah. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm always open to answer those. Yes, my pronunciation of that one is really good. I'm surprised why it's so good. Yeah. No, I always forget this. I have to, when I place it, it's not the second part. Oh, I always forget. It's fine. We will get it anyway. Yeah, probably open world one is the best option for my casual player. Yeah, I would agree. I definitely, yeah. I like PvP legendaries the most. Just turn off your brain and you make your progress no matter what. Yeah, I would agree with you, under the assumption that you enjoy playing PvP. If you want to have this kind of, you want to beat enemy players, you want to try to improve at the game and that kind of stuff, then this is the easiest one to go for sure. But it really, you need to like PvP. You know, if you don't like PvP, it's not recommended at all. It's really, you really have to like it, because it might be somewhat fast to do so, but if it's, so to say, for you horrible to actually do, it's like a torment to do this, then don't do it. You know, that's really, I really want to stress that here. Yeah, it's subjective, definitely. I think that you should not go for the fastest one. You should go for the one that you actually enjoy the content the most. That's my take. And the cool part is, if you enjoy different content, you can actually mix and match. That might not be the thing that you want to hear, but the fastest way would be mix and matching. So going for one open world one, going for one, how is it called? One PvP one, two raid ones maybe, and one world versus world one. And then you are very fast if you do all of them in tandem, so to say. But it might not be suited for everyone, of course. Yeah, world versus world is also very AFKable, so to say. You just need to play a little bit for 1 minute or so, and then you have 10 minutes of semi-AFKing again. Yeah, that's true. And I mean, if you play in circus stuff, then it's also very fun, I would say. You don't have to wait until the ticks. You can also get events and get more tickets that way as well. So I think there are multiple ways, and most of them are actually fine. Yeah. Raid armor looks cool, but it says it transforms. But as I will be maining Irwin, maybe it should go for world versus world or PvP because of the mists. I mean, go for the thing that you enjoy. You know, it's not like Revenant is very likely of going for the mist stuff just because it's the character of the mists. But I can see where you're going. I think all of them, I think the looks are debatable. I think the legendary armor looks are not the best ones. I don't mostly go for the convenience. I think the convenience, and that's the thing that I would go for. The skins, you can easily transmute the skins and you will be fine for the most part. So go for the one that is the most convenient for you to get, and then let's say transmute the skins. That's how I would do it. Because the legendary skins, to be honest, the weapons have way better skins than the armor. I would not recommend going for skins of the armor. If you like the skin, sure, go for it. But if you're only in for the cool skins, I'm not sure. I think there are cooler armor skins out there that are not legendary. Welcome, Mr. Pokémon. I hope that Death of Guild Wars 2 will not mean that you will stop YouTube because I love your videos. No, don't worry. So that's a big if. If there really is a time where Guild Wars 2 is not being played anymore, or people are not interested anymore, then I hope there is a time where Guild Wars 3 is. If both of this is not the case, I would probably go to another game and still continue YouTube. So don't worry about it. I'm not one that is just playing Guild Wars 2 and that's it. I play other games off the side as well. I just have fun creating content. So I hope you can see that in my content as well, that it's like, I like that, because that's something that I, want to get across as well. Sure. I'm honest, there's not a single legendary armor I like, but weapons are nice, also gives unique weapon sounds. Yeah, I personally would agree. I don't care about the legendary armor skins too much. I got them for the convenience. Really, I don't use the skin on any character if I really wanted to go for the fashion and stuff. But as you know, I'm not a fashion enjoyer anyway. I'm just, I select one weapon skin once and then I never change my stuff again. That's how I do it. I just collect stuff. I don't equip it. So maybe I'm the wrong person to ask about fashion advice. What other game would you move on if Guild Wars 2 died? I mean, it depends obviously on in terms of what the viewer base would be interested in, but also when it happens. So if it happens right now, it would be a different answer than if it happens in 3 years, because in 3 years there might be a different game out, and let's say that I would play, or a different community audience in there. So I can't give you a straight answer to it, Winslow, but it will definitely be something that has some kind of depth to it, maybe some kind of build crafting element to it. Maybe it's an MMO, maybe it's an ARPG, maybe it's even a roguelike and multiple roguelikes. I think I can see myself doing different content, different games as well, not only focused on a single one. So I don't want to say which one it will be, because it might change in the future. For me, it's like I play what I enjoy and I make content about it if I know enough, or if I have enjoyment out of it, and you also enjoy seeing that content. That's how I think about this. Other games, RKF Fishing Simulator? Yeah, maybe that's up on the list. I mean, is there even such a game? Maybe that's the thing. Yeah, it could be pay to win. It could be. I mean, Aeon 2 will probably be pay to win, and that's upcoming this year, I guess. So yeah, we will see. Hopefully ArenaNet is not working in the background on Aeon 2 for NCSoft. That would be the worst outcome in my opinion. Maybe I have to try Aeon 2 then, but I think it's still pay to win even in the West. So yeah. I never bothered to make any legendary gear or weapons until the armory. Yeah, the armory helps a lot. It's insane how much it helps. I agree. It's really a big selling point for sure. By the way, after this, to Fractals, we will do a tier list. So don't be sure to stick around for that. We will do a tier list, and I will rate every single item in the Wizard's Vault. Yeah, and will give you my opinion as someone that actually has a decent amount of gold. If it's worth it to get, it's very, so to say, for new players, what you want to get first and stuff. And we will talk about it. So maybe you have different opinions, different takes on that. That will be interesting. We'll do that later. I got the legendary relic 2 days ago, bought 17k lucent crystal for like 2k gold. Yeah, at least now you have it, but that's expensive, I'm so happy that I got it earlier with the runes, I got my runes then, and therefore I didn't need to go and get the really expensive legendary relic, so I'm happy about that one. But now you have it, that's good. But NCSoft made it pay to win, like every game they touch. Yeah, that could be. Yeah, I hope not. I hope it'll not. Yeah, maybe. I don't know about other MMOs. I don't know the player numbers. No one publishes those, so I can't really tell which is actually the most played and how many players are currently playing Guild Wars 2. It's really interesting to see, but we don't know. Yeah, maybe I play Roblox. You never know. Or I go full sumo mode and go Fortnite, No, I'm joking. I don't see me doing that. I need a little bit more depth in the game than that, I would say. But you never know. Sometimes life goes in different directions. That's just. I mean, if you stand in the agony, I can't heal you. That's the problem. Can't wait to spend like 10k gold on all necessary runes and sigils. Oh my god, yes. I mean, I got all of that way before that, and I mean, yeah, at least, the legendary weapons were way more expensive back then. So there's that, Legendaries are now like, the armor and weapons are actually quite cheap, whereas the other things might be a little bit more expensive. So, yeah. Honestly, I've lost all hope in Guild Wars 2. Yeah, I mean, the problem with the voicing is because they were on strike, the voice actors. So that's the reason why you don't have the voicing. But I can see why you see this patch and think, okay, I lose my hope now. Yeah, I can see that. It's the sad truth. I can understand it. I didn't lose my hope, at least for ArenaNet as a whole, not yet. But I can definitely see why you would. How to scam 10-year-old kids out of Roblox? Yeah, I mean... I'm not sure if that's a big selling feature of my YouTube channel then, but sounds like fun. Sounds like fun, yeah. Still way more expensive than if I did it back then. Yeah, of course. It's very expensive to go for those legendary things, for sure. I don't even have the voice stuffs up, so I don't care. Yeah, actually, I was not having voice, how's it called? The music and the voiceover and that kind of stuff in the background. I was just streaming it and I was talking to you. I didn't even listen for a second of the news story, so I didn't even see it. It's telling everything. Yeah, I mean, my YouTube content is like, I want to entertain and I want to give you some education about the game. So I don't really want to be mean in a game. You know, that's not who I am. You know, if you see me streaming PvP or playing World versus World or even in PvE, if there's someone bad, I don't flame them. So stuff like that is not something. What? Yeah, so it's not definitely what I would do. Yeah. And what? Soloing because what happened? I got potted out as well. Yeah, it's really weird. now we are dead. So weird. Maybe there's a big update for Guild Wars 3 around the corner. I mean, that would be amazing. You know, if that would be the case, I would be really hyped about it. That would be really cool. And I could make content about it, you know, and people would be interested. But at the same point, I also see that if they announce Guild Wars 3 right now, there would be a steep decrease of income from Guild Wars 2 because most people would actually not invest time and money even in the game anymore. That's why they don't announce it, I guess. Someone needs to make an ArenaNet developer tier list, starting with Call, CMC, and Roy. I mean, that would be really fun, but I think I'm a positive guy, yeah? That means that I don't really want to be toxic about other people, yeah? That might seem like an obvious thing, but I personally think having tier lists about other people can be a meme, yes, but for the most part, it's also can be interpreted as something toxic, yeah, because you rate people, and I don't want to judge other people. So that's why I wouldn't do it, but I think it could be a funny thing for sure. Yeah, the scrapper was just, I don't care, you know, I do it alone, you know, it's like, this is how we do it, you know. Bad group, they died, they couldn't even spawn in, you know. At least they GG'd then, so there's that. I would be so sad. Yeah, have been playing for a year and still so much to explore. Wouldn't like people to stop playing Guild Wars 2. Yeah, I think the thing is, people would still play Guild Wars 2. If they do it correctly, I think people, for example me, I would still play Guild Wars 2 if they would announce Guild Wars 3. Because it will not come out in the next, I don't know, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years maybe even, we don't know. Yeah, so I would still play Guild Wars 2. But, and that's the important part here, I think they would just not get enough money from it anymore. So they have to be really careful how to do that, to make it so that they have enough people playing the game still without making it too obvious that they are working on something else in the background. That's the thing they have to find out. If Guild Wars 3 comes out someday, they have to merge a lot of things in Guild Wars 2. I guess, yeah. I guess they would have to merge a lot of stuff. And also make it a little bit more solo-friendly, because a lot of stuff requires 5 people or something, or 10 people at least to do. And that's not something that you can do easily if the game is a little bit less alive. For sure. I'm not sure. We need more people here. I mean, we have 2 scrappers, so the super speed can be quite good here. No, I'm cursed. Yeah, But after this fractal, we will do the Wizards Vault tier list, because that's something that a lot of new players always ask, and I think with the reset, it's actually quite interesting to give a new update on that, because there are some items in there that are horrible. Let's say absolutely dog shit. And with the new release on the new map and stuff and the reset of it, we should definitely talk about it so that people don't get baited into buying some really, really bad items there. Wizards Fall tier list, exactly, that's what we want. Yeah, because the last one was quite a while back, and they actually changed some stuff. So some of the numbers changed, and they also added some features that I didn't have in there before. And I wanted to make a nice one where I talk about the stuff without having too much of just bad background and stuff like that. So I think I did some mistakes there, and I also want to redo because it was like over half a year ago or something. So it's, I think almost a year ago. So it's like there are some changes there. Yes. The best thing about this patch was adding festival vendors to LA. Now I have my full homestead. Yeah, that was really interesting. I didn't see that one coming. That's such a weird thing that they did there. I mean, I'm happy, you know, I think it's a good thing. But it's weird, definitely. And now everyone can buy this all year. I guess that's cool, but it's so weird. It was so, you know, so why did they do it now? What made them do it now? It's really weird. I didn't see that one coming, yeah. That's why I would really like to see some kind of, how's it called, developer interview or blog post or something, why they came up with this idea just now, or what was the feature that they said, oh, this one has to come out right now. That's really interesting. And it have stolen the Wizard's Vault helmet skin from Warframe. I don't know about that one, but there are some skins in there, and I'm always happy to get more skins to collect, so I'm happy with this one for sure. I think it's also cool that they add mount skins in there, because that was always something that is really not, you know, it was just paid. You only could get mount skins by paying, and that's something that they now fixed to some extent. You can get it from the Wizard's Vault. That's really cool. And I also think the Wizard's Vault, that's the cool part, or the interesting part. I personally think, that might be a hot take, but the best thing that we got with Soto is the Wizard's Vault. Yeah. I'm brutally honest here. I think that's the best thing that we got with it. It's a core feature, yes, but in general, what Soto bought us was the Wizard's Vault. Yeah. Yeah, I will check it. I really want to know what happened with Arena's team after EOD. The quality and the amount of content went into the trash after EOD. Yes, and that's, in my opinion, a very clear indication that they are working since then at some new stuff. I have a video coming up, I think, the day after tomorrow, talking about exactly that and having some, I wouldn't say proof, but having at least some kind of nerdy analysis of how this will turn out in the future. You know, I have some clues there and some interesting ideas, and I already have recorded the video and I will edit it soon. So this is really, I have a lot of stuff to talk about there. So be sure to check out my YouTube channel for that one, because there are some clues why this happened with EOD, starting with EOD. Yeah. No, shouldn't we chat while doing this fractal? This is such an annoying fractal. Holy shit. It's amazing how annoying. It's so annoying. Knockback CCs, 1,000 enemies. It's actually crazy. This is one of the most visual clutter fractals ever. Yeah, it's crazy. We did it. Good job, everyone. In terms of fashion, I'm more for more realistic looks. Tuned down, not so flashy as the people go. No, yeah, that's a problem. It's always has to be more flashy than before. That's a problem for sure. But yeah, that's just how they sell skins that are more flashy. You know, that people are always up for more light, more bright, more effects. That's what people are up for. That's the sad truth. I agree that it would be cooler if they would have more different skins as well. Yeah. All of Monument between Guild Wars 1 and launch of Guild Wars 2, the thing could be done better, but I'm guessing that's what we get from Guild Wars 2 to Guild Wars 3. It could be. I'm not sure. We never know until they announce something like that, but that could be a way to make Guild Wars 2 still relevant for Guild Wars 3. Yeah, I will set up the Wizards Vault unit. I will be right back. Yeah, that looks actually really similar. I agree. I agree. Okay, so let's check out the tier list. Yeah, thanks for joining, Snowdrop. It was fun. Thanks for carrying here. The best thing of this update is the provisioner token weekly. Yeah, that's also really good for people that don't have that all that. Yeah, that's stolen. I mean, it's stolen, or is it like they took inspiration from it, you know? Yeah, so let's talk about the Wizard's Vault. So I have some nice things here. Of course, the tier list that I'm using here is not using the up-to-date mount skins, but it's the same thing. I don't rate them in terms of niceness. I'm rating them in terms of efficiency and stuff that you get here. So it's the same thing. What I want to mention here is about this Wizard's Vault tier list. I will also set up the how is it called? That people know what I'm doing here. I guess like that. Looks good. And let's talk about it. So what are the tiers? What is the best item to get in Guild Wars 2 Wizard's Vault? What is not only in this season but in all seasons in general? So I would say S tier is must get. This is like you have to get this one. Then it goes obviously down from A to B tier. I would say I would make like one tier in there that is like at row above, I guess, and make it like, I don't know. What was it like? I don't know. I would make this one subjective tier because it's very subjective how you rate that one. And D tier is like, just don't do that. Don't buy it. That's like, really don't do it. That's the one that is really, really important. Yeah. So that's a Wizard's Vault value tier list. Yeah. Or I would, yeah, let's add this here because it's about the value. Yeah. I'm not talking about the how nice the skin is, it's about the value. Good point, yeah. Short question about Generation 2 weapons. I thought Generation 2 was annoying because of the achievement, but Sage and Estimamity just seems to be expensive without an achievement. Yes, you only have their 4 weapons like the Astrolaria, Hope, Nevermore, and what's the last one? I think there's one more, Juke and Jumper, but those 4 have a collection, but all the others don't. You just have to buy all the, craft it yourself, but you have to craft it and then you can get it. It's just gold. It's just gold. Nothing in there other than that. Yes. So let's talk about it. I think the tiers are quite straightforward. Or maybe we should do the S tier would be must buy tier, you know. That's like buy that. That's absolutely insane. Have to buy that. The other ones are like not absolutely necessary. Here's a big disclaimer. You can purchase every single item in the Wizard's Vault that is limited in how many you can purchase if you go for the daily, weekly stuff on a regular basis. You don't have to do it every single day, every single week. There's nothing in there that you will not get at all. That's the important part here. There's always enough left over of the Wizard's coins, so to say, Astral Acclaim, to get all this stuff. Keep that in mind. So let's start with the very easy ones. With the skins that I mentioned, those are not the skins that you have currently in the season, but it's the same for all skins. Mount skins is subjective to take. The armor skins are subjective. Emotes and all that stuff is all very subjective. So that's everything. Whatever is some kind of skin, it's objective. Some kind of, I don't know, chair, some kind of toy. Everything that is in there, infusion, subjective. Yeah. There's another one here. So I put it here in subjective, and I think that should make it clear. What else do we have? What is subjective? I don't know. Let's start with stuff that is not subjective, and we will get to stuff that might be subjective. Yeah. What is really good, must buy, in my opinion, is easily rated is the Legendary Starter Kit, in my opinion. It costs a lot of Astral Acclaim, yes, but you get, I would say, half of a Legendary there of the Gen 1, and you can't sell it, but you can craft it very easy. It's amazing for a new player to start with the Legendary journey. Even for a veteran, it's amazing because you can actually sell the Legendary after that and you get a lot of gold. It's really good, yeah. It's really, really good, yeah. This is must buy in my opinion. But you could make the argument for people that don't want to craft the legendary themselves, they don't want to do the map completion, you could make the argument going for A tier. But I'm saying it's so much value that you get, it's like, I don't know, 800 gold or something. It's insane. It's really good. So that's why it's there. Yeah. So then we are already having that in chat here, the clover discussion. So Mystic Clovers are really good, but they are only really good if you're going for legendaries, because you need to craft them. You can't sell them at all. And so it's the same for the, so to say, legendary starter kit. You need to go for it for the full legendary. And that's the same for the Mystic Clovers. You can't sell it. So for some people, it's really, really high value because Clovers are Mystic coins, so they have a lot of value baseline in them, but it's not absolutely insane. Yeah. So I think if you don't play competitive modes, it's amazing how important it is to buy them. If you play World vs. World in PvP, you could make the argument to put them lower because you might have enough of them for all the legendaries that you get. But for solely PvE player, it's amazing. It's really high value. Yeah. So I would say for people that go for all legendaries and play only PvE, it's a must buy. For others, it might be A tier. That's the same for the legendary starter kit to some extent. And you can't sell it. Yeah. So maybe I don't know. It's hard to say. I personally think because you can get everything, I would always buy the Mystic Clovers. If you have 10 stacks of them, don't care, buy them. It's actually so much value, get them, you know. That's my take there. So Mystic coins, again, of course, probably on top of the list because of the high amount of value that they currently have. It's like 2 gold or something. It's amazing how much gold you get per Astral Acclaim here. It's really, really good. Must buy, really, really good. Yeah. So keep that in mind. What else do we have that is really good? I personally think the build equipment template is amazing. Build template expansion is must buy as well. You can't get that any other way. You normally would go with, let's say, with gems. It's very cheap in terms of how much gold you get. You just need 350 Astral Acclaim to get this. It's really, really good. Go for that. It's really worthwhile. Even if you don't want to use it right now, buy it because you can stack up on those. Really, really, really worth it. Getting a gem store item from the Wizard's Vault is amazing. That's why it's a must buy in my opinion. You could make the argument if I don't need it, it's not a must buy. Yeah, but you can make the argument for everything in here and just go for the gold all the time. But I think this is a very valued thing. It's everyone probably that plays anything in the game with multiple builds, it's helpful. That's why it's there. There is another build template. Ignore this one. This is the old one. It was more expensive back then. Now we have this one. It's better then. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, I can see why you make the argument that about the Mystic Clover. I think there are multiple ways to actually do it, but I would say Mystic Clovers are, for almost any player, it's worth it to get the Mystic Clovers. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree that you lack the equipment template. You could make the argument without an equipment template, you don't need the build template. That's fair. But what I'm saying here, why I put it in must buy, is because I think you get a gem store item, so to say, for free. So why would you not buy it? You know, it's like so many gems that you would otherwise have to spend on that. Just get it. But I agree, it's not the most useful one. The equipment template would be more useful than the build template, but at least you can get it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So you could make the argument for putting it down if you don't like it that much, but I personally think it's so much value. You know, it's so much value. So let's go into scammed here now. Don't buy luck. Don't buy the luck. Really, you know, there is no reason to buy the luck. It's really bad. If you spend the same amount of Wizards coins on something else, you get probably more gold than you can sell this and buy unidentified gear, open it, salvage, and you get more luck out of it. So don't buy the luck. The luck is horrible. It's really, don't do it. Spend it on gold instead. It's better than that. Really important. Really, really important. Yeah. Yeah, I told you, this one is the old one. This is the more expensive one, so this is not up to date. I will not rate this one. It's just this one. This is the up-to-date version. Yes, you start with 3 build templates and 2 equipment templates. So you're right, of course, you don't need the build templates, but I feel like having those, it's actually really valuable. That's my take. It's my subjective take, this whole tier list. So there can be something that is subjectively different and people might disagree with me there. Let me know in the comments in this chat, yeah. But I personally think this is my take. I think this is a must buy because it's very high value in terms of what you get with this. Yeah. So then I would say Laurels are A tier for me. They are decent. Yeah, they give you a decent amount of gold, and you can get them not really any other way. So this is a really worthwhile thing to get. I wouldn't say it's a must buy because it's like there is nothing in Laurels that actually needs Laurels for the most part. You can get everything nowadays that you can spend Laurels on without having to spend Laurels. I hope that makes sense. So it's good. It's really good. Good value. You can also convert it into gold if you wanted to, but it's not a must buy for me. The same goes for the heavy crafting bag. It's just gold. It gives you gold. It's worth it for the most part. It's a little bit expensive if you compare it to the Mystic coins. This one is like under 1 gold for 8, and this is like 2 gold for 9. That's why it's an S tier, and this one is an A tier. But at least it's decent. Yeah. Welcome, Ariel. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, everyone. We are just doing a tier list about the Wizards World stuff. Hope you had a nice stream, Ariel. And yeah, just let me know your takes here as well if you're already here. So we are currently... Yeah, I think heavy crafting bag is definitely A tier for me. It's not as good as Mystic coins. That's why it's here. Yeah. What else do we have? Big scam. Lesser essence of gold. Please don't buy this if you're not memeing. You know, 1,000 astral acclaim spending on essence of gold is like, what are you doing? It's like, it's insane. It's like doesn't have any value. Because the thing is, for a new player to understand, this doesn't give you 1% more gold, like on fractals, on raid persons and that kind of stuff. No, that's not how it works. It gives you 1% more gold drop from direct loot. So if you kill an enemy in the open world, it gives you like, sometimes some enemies gives you like 1 silver. That means that you get instead 1 silver and 1 copper. Yeah, if you bought this item once. So you spend 1k astral acclaim on something that increases the gold gain by farming meta trains like overall like on 50 copper or something. It's like nothing. It's really, really bad. It's so bad. I personally have to be honest. I sometimes buy it because I just like to see my number go up. I'm not joking. I'm just a weird guy. I buy this thing to see my number go up in the window in the hero panel. Yeah. But if you're a new player, this is just a scam. This is such a big scam. Don't purchase this. Really, really, really bad. So please keep that in mind. What else is a big scam? I personally think that the obsidian shards are either don't buy or C tier. If you are having, for whatever reason you want obsidian shards, don't play PvP in World vs. World and don't have any karma, then yes, you can buy them, but they are not worth it to buy. Yeah, keep that in mind. Yeah. But yeah, I would not recommend going for them. They're also quite expensive. You get them so easily nowadays, and it's just don't go for them. I think they are scammed here, but you could at least make the argument. I can see why some people that are absolutely burned out of karma and obsidian shards that you could buy them. But I think it's like lowest of lowest C tier. Yeah. I think maybe the chat is saying it's so important to put them in don't buy tier. Maybe I should put them here. But then I think there might not be that much in C tier, and I don't know. Yeah, you get them everywhere, but maybe some players are not struggling to get the karma and the obsidian shards, maybe. But I mean, it's so expensive, you know, compared, 50, That's like, if you bought Mystic coins with it, it's like, oh my god, it's 1 obsidian shard for like... It's so bad. It's like for, like, say, 5, like 10 gold. 1 obsidian shard is 1 gold. 10 gold. Oh my god. It's so bad. It's so bad. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I guess. I think it's for some people it might be C tier, but I guess it's not buy tier. Yeah. Yeah, the Black Line Mastery cover. We had an argument about that already. I personally think the Black Line Mastery cover can be good for some people that want to get a specific mastery track up, but it's like, why would you spend gold on that? You can easily farm experience very easy in the game with the boosters and stuff. I think this is a C tier pick. You could make the argument from picking it in subjective because some people might want to get Heart of Thorns Mastery to get the next level of the mastery track. Maybe, but I think that's C tier, yeah. Yeah, for Echo Fox it was really good because he was going for all the masteries and grinded it like because of that, but I think that's like really bad. I think, yeah, if it was the newest ones in there, then that would be cool to finish out the stuff without going too much in the new map, yeah. But I think with the old maps, I think you can easily go in the meta events and stuff. I don't know. Yeah. What else do we have? You can't sell it to the vendor anymore, or you can, but it doesn't provide that much value anymore. Before it was really good. Now it doesn't do that anymore. Yeah. Petition to rename the subjective tier to roleplay tier. Yeah, I mean we can do that. Roleplay, just for you. Name it roleplay here. Subjective or roleplay tier. Yeah. So what else do we have? I think the build storage expansion. I personally would put that in subjective because the build template is, in my opinion, something that's really good. The build storage, I personally buy it because I want to get it because it's from the gem store, but I never use it. So I personally think the build storage is very bad. I could make a whole video about talking about build storage, build template, and equipment template, why they have to do this free split and why it's bad. But the build storage, to put it into one sentence, it's just not useful, in my opinion. So I put it in subjective. If you find it useful, it's a worthwhile pickup. If you don't find it useful, don't pick it up, or just pick it up if you're a collector like me and just want to see the number go up again. So I don't like this in this sense, but it's subjective. Yeah, it's great if you only play one class. I guess that's true. But like I said, that's subjective. If you play 9 classes and play like 70 characters like I do, then it's subjectively bad. But if you play one class, maybe it's objectively good. I don't know. It depends, yeah. I will leave it for now in the subjective tier. Like I said, the build template, this one is outdated. This is the new version. That's why it's there. Let's go to Revive Orbs. Revive Orbs, what can I say? I think the item itself is cool that you can get the gem store item from it. It's really expensive. It's 20 gold to get if you compare it to the Mystic coin. So I think it's definitely not really high, but you can't get it that easily in any other way. And sometimes in Fractals, you might want to revive yourself in some open world. So I can see why it's useful, yeah. But I personally think it's just why would you buy? I don't know. It's really expensive. That's the problem. So I think it might be subjective again, because if you use them regularly, it might be okay. But in 99 CM, it's the only time where I use mine, and I have like hundreds of them lying around. So maybe I'm just a weirdo, but I think for me, it's not that good. So I would put it in lower tiers because I think it's very expensive and it's not that useful for the most part. Like Chat points out, it's really 99 CM and that's about it. They only work in Fractals, yeah, and they don't work in raids, of course. So yeah, that's where I would put it in subjective. Then we have the bag of coin that is limited, so the 90 version. That's definitely, I would say, actually a must-buy pick. You should pick that up. It's really, really cheap. You get like 1 gold for 6 Astral Acclaim. It's almost as good as the Mystic coin, and you get it directly, so it's a must-buy in my opinion. It's really, really good. You can only get 90 of those, but you have to buy it. It's really, really good. On the other hand, the normal bags of coin that are not limited, I would actually put into, I guess, low A tier, maybe B tier, yeah, depends a bit, because this you can go for if you have all the must-buy and A tier picks already. This is the thing that you fall back to. Everything below it you should not buy, because 1 coin, let's say gold for 30 Astral Acclaim is quite expensive, but you can, if everything below that is worse, then go for that one, yeah. And liquid gold is always good because you avoid the taxing, yeah, exactly. That's why I would put it in A tier. But obviously, go for everything that is an A tier or must buy first. Yeah, this is the only thing. Don't buy this at first. Go for the more valuable ones. Yeah. Then we have the Vision Crystal. What can I say? The Vision Crystal is again like the Obsidian Shard. It's the same thing. If you need it to craft something, it can be worthwhile to get. But for most people, it's really easy to craft this one because it doesn't require any crazy good things. And it's so expensive. It's like 3 times an Obsidian Shard, which is like already like 10 to 20 gold. So why would you? This is really bad. I think don't buy it here. But some people would put it together with the Obsidian Shard and C tier, I guess. but I think it's really bad. Don't go for it, ever. Then, let's continue with the Ascended Weapon chests. Yeah, I mean, if you want to avoid the spirit shards, maybe, yeah, that's true. But I think I wouldn't buy it. You know, I wouldn't buy it. Ascended weapons, ascended armor chests for new player, absolutely must buy it here. Absolutely insane. 3 ascended weapons essentially and armor. It's insane. The value is crazy good on those, and it's selectable. It's crazy. Yeah. If you already have full ascended or full legendary like I do, it might not be as worth it anymore. So I would say maybe make a tier must buy for a new player. Oops. So something like this must lost control. Must buy for or as new player, and then I would put it in here. Yeah, that's how I would do it. You have to buy it as a new player. It's absolutely insane. For a veteran, not so much. That's my assessment here. I don't buy it all the time because I have full legendary gear and I don't need the ascended stuff anymore. But it's still decent if you're lazy, like Snowdrop points out, to convert into research nodes. But at this point, I think better buy the gold and get stuff with the gold, and then you will be better off. Just a little bit more clicks, but it will be better in the long run. Yeah, maybe you can make the argument to put in the heavy crafting bed in the must buy tier as well. I just think the must buy tier is so insane that it has to be one step above the A tier. But I can see why you would make the argument, for sure. So then slowly we now get to the stuff that is actually quite hard to rate. So we have the large crafting bag is don't buy. It's horrible. It's really bad. It's so expensive and doesn't give you that much value. It's really bad. Don't buy it. It's way better to go for the bag of coins. Really, really don't ever buy that. It's really bad. That it's easy. And now we come to the stuff that is actually challenging. The transmutation charges. I personally would put them in not buy because I have like 5k of those. But there are some people that only play PvE and use fashion stuff all the time, and then it can be worthwhile for you to get it. That's why I put it in subjective or roleplay. Yeah, because for some people that might be worthwhile to get. Yeah, if you play a lot of world versus world PvP and don't use transmutation charges or have full legendary gear like I do, there is no need for transmutation charges. I never use them, really, literally never. So that's why it's in subjective. But if you need it because you don't play those competitive modes, don't get them as frequently, and you use like fashion stuff every single day, change your fashion, then it's possibly worth it for you. So that's why it's there. Yeah, so that's why I put it in subjective. Yeah. Exactly. Even people that started rather new, you get a lot of transmutation charges if you play the specific modes where you get those. Then we have the upgrade extractor. Oh my god, this is one of the items that is really hard to rate. So I have the unlimited version, so I never buy it, of course. There are some rare cases where if you don't have the unlimited one, it's worthwhile to use the upgrade extractor. I think it's worthwhile to put it into A tier, maybe into B tier, if you really need it. But to be honest, it's very subjective, because if you have legendary stuff, then it might be completely useless. For me, I think it's not a subjective tier because it's objectively a good pickup for people that don't have the endless upgrade extractor, you know, because it's a gem store item that has a value. It's a single time use item that you can use to extract infusions and runes and sigils and stuff. So I personally think it's a B tier item. It's expensive, but if you really need it to extract a really crazy infusion or something like that, and from an ascended item, for example, this is worthwhile to do. Yeah. So I think I will leave it in B tier because it's a fair assessment, but I would say think twice if you need it, because it's quite expensive. You know, it costs, even in the worst option, you get 1 gold for it, you know, even more than 1 gold. So is it really that much worth to you? But of course, if you do that regularly, stock them up, because you can only get 12 of those per rotation. Yeah. Yeah, there is an infusion remover, that's correct, but you can't remove the runes and sigils with that one, so this is the ultimate one where you get everything and all in one thing. But like I said, I have the unlimited one, so I never purchased this. So it for me, even if it's in B tier, I would never use it. Yeah. Then we have the Blackline Salvage Kit. That's also that might be a very hot take. The Blackline Salvage Kit is quite valuable. It's quite valuable because it guarantees you the upgrade. If you salvage an exotic, if you salvage stuff that has a specific, let's say a force sigil on there, you can guarantee that you get it even without the upgrade extractor. And just because of that, it goes into A tier. I'm not joking, just because of that. If you get an item that has the force sigil on there, has maybe even a torment sigil on there or whatever, and it's exotic, you can salvage it, get some Ectos, get guaranteed the sigil back, can sell it. That's the thing, yeah. So keep that in mind. If you don't do it, or if you have the unlimited upgrade extractor, the Blackline Salvage Kit loses in value heavily and falls off. So keep that in mind. Yeah, the price is actually quite good, as Snowdrop points out, because it's 50 for 25 usage. So you get 3 per season. You can stack up on those. I have a full character of those lying around because I don't use them, but I have them. So whenever that comes out, you could use that. So I think it's really good. Yeah, I would get it because it's an A tier and it's a good item, but for someone that has the unlimited upgrade extractor, it loses value. Just want to point it out. And then this one, like I said, we already have the normal, this is the regular version, this is an older version. So we will now only talk about the Tome of Knowledge. So you can see it here. Tome of Knowledge. Where would I put Tome of Knowledge? Hot question. The answer is, it's actually really high. Tome of Knowledge gives you spirit shards if you can use it on a level 80 character. If you use it on a not level 80 character, it gives you a level. So it's really nice to level your tomes. So that's why it would be a must buy as a new player, as your second character or something. If you want to get a spirit shard out of it, it's a must buy. If you want to convert your spirit shards into gold, it's actually a must buy because it's actually 1 gold almost per spirit shard that you can get for 8. And I would say it's actually a must buy. Might be a hot take. I think the Tome of Knowledge might be must buy for most people. You should actually get it because it's 3 gold. Yeah. I have like, I don't know at this point, I have 10k spirit shards or Tome of Knowledge lying around. So for me, I personally don't care that much, but for most players in the game, it's really important. But like Snowdrop points out, it's like you don't have to go for it because it's a little bit less easy to get the gold out of because you have to get the Tome of Knowledge, convert the spirit shard and that kind of stuff. It's a little bit more annoying. But I think of the value of a spirit shard, because some people really grind spirit shards for legendaries, or green ones cost a lot, for example, the skins, all of them. So if you don't play the game like a ton, then spirit shards can be a little bit of pain to get. So Tome of Knowledge are really good for that, and the value of it is really, really good. So that's why it's a must buy. But I can see the argument to put it in A tier. Yeah. So that's just my take. I think it's really, really good to keep them, especially if you're starting the game out and are not like a veteran with 10k hours, then it's maybe a bit different. But that's my tier list. You can see there are some items that are extremely strong and must buy. And then you have quite a bit of subjective takes with the skins and stuff. And then you have like half of the stuff in the Wizard's World is like complete garbage. Don't buy it. Really. It's like, be careful what you buy there. But in general, you can get all of the S, A, and even the subjective stuff guaranteed if you just play a little bit of the dailies and most of the weeklies, and you will get it guaranteed before the next reset. And even if you don't get the skins, you can get them for a higher price, I think, next season as well. So don't worry about it. That's what I would say about the Wizard's World. I think it's really good system and has a lot of cool features. But let me know your take on that. I think this is a good assessment, from at least in my opinion. Yeah. But of course, that's not completely subjectively true for everyone. Some people would really like to go for full lawless because they want to have the leaderboard and the lawless. That's just how it goes, you know. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the take. Let's go back to Guild Wars. When you need all the time Mystic Clovers for legendary weapons, are you crafting it for around 8.7k gold? So 8.7 gold, 670 gold, or just wait 3 months for next Wizard World for 20 for free, or PvP event or something every week. So The thing is, I would say if you're a veteran like me, you can go to those vendors and buy the Mystic Clovers, for example, from here. From this vendor, from the strike missions, from raids, from fractals, and from PvP, World vs. World. You can get those very regularly, so always get those. But if I actually don't do that anymore because I have full legendary. So I just get them from the reward tracks. You know, from the reward track at the end gives you 2, the repeatable ones gives you 2 Mystic Clovers. And even I, that has all the legendary gear and stuff, I have like almost 200 of them lying around. So keep that in mind, yeah? It's like you actually get a lot of them if you play the game a lot. But the vendors are helping a lot. It's crazy. So in the Mystic Forge, it's luck-based, but the luck-based is like, if you go for 1,000 Mystic Clovers, it will on average be the same number there. But of course, you're right, it's luck-based after all. So if you're unlucky, you lose a lot of money. Yeah, for sure. So I wanted to craft the staff. Let's craft the staff. Yes, if you need the materials, of course, then it could be a little bit more value as well. But I think with the material prices right now, it's not really that good. So I hope I got all of them. Yes, I think. And let's craft the staffs thingy here. And then we can finally get the, how is it called? It's not in the wardrobe. That's the weird part. Let's what I want to craft here. So if you don't know, there is a new staff skin added. Visage of the Mist. I don't have that. I have all of the skins almost in the game, but this one I don't have because it's very new, so I want to craft it right now. This is really cool. It's really fitting to Mesmer, like some kind of staff illusion. Really cool. So for that one I need 250 of those things here. So let's wait a bit. I mean, the thing is, I have still lying around like 2,000 statuettes and a lot of guaranteed wardrobe unlocks, but it's not in there. They don't update those guaranteed wardrobe unlocks every time they release a new patch. That takes forever to update this, so it takes a while. Yeah. Yeah, the limited vendors are, I would say, always worth it if you really want to go for them. I think Mystic Clovers, Mystic Coins and that stuff is only worth it for you to get if you really need to go for all the legendaries. You know, even I, that has all the legendaries and like 3 times the armor sets over and over and stuff, I'm still interested in Mystic Clovers to some extent because the new legendary backpack, every new legendary that I want to go for needs the Clovers, so I will go for it in the end, yeah. That's how it goes. Welcome, Spawns. Welcome. Just crafting the new staff right now. Takes a while, but we will get there, I hope. Oh my god, I think... Ooh, that's gonna be close. No, I think it's not enough. No. Need more of those. Even more. Oh, I need 250 of those. It's actually insane. Yeah. So 3 times. I want to craft it now. I want to see it on stream. How you been liking the new stuff? So, the new stuff, let's summarize it. I think the fractal itself is okay. I like the fractal. It's not too good, but it's not too bad either. Yeah. So, I think it comes down if the challenge mode is really nice. But the new map, I'm not a big fan. I think I like the vertical stuff. That's cool. But the meta event on there is really bad, I think. It's not feeling that epic, and it's the finale. So why would they put it? And like Snorter points out, the story, I really dislike the story, that there's no skip button, and I have to replay the story with all the talking 2 times. It's horrible. So at least there's, wait. At least I don't know, make it a little bit more interesting, entertaining and stuff, but I don't know. So I'm not the biggest fan of the story and the meta event. The map is, I would say, too small. It's explored in 15 minutes. But at least we got a new map with a meta event, so there's that. I like the skins and the rewards that we got with that, so that's the good part. I don't like the mastery. The mastery is like, that's just very unnecessary. You know, the new mastery is like, doesn't provide any good value. and the homesteading is like, it's just there because it increases your decoration limit, you know? That's like, what? Those two are like nothing. And I think the patch is, for me, yeah, somewhat of a disappointment. Yeah, the new skins are really cool, but that's about it. You know, I will do the achievements and the quality of life stuff, but like I said, that's probably about it. So now let's craft the stuff. Where is it? There. This. And there we go. There it is. Nice. And now we can unlock it to our account. Nice, we have it. That's what we like. It was an interesting choice that put the final boss at the start of the meta and not the end. Yeah, it was a very interesting choice. I mean, it was like, at the beginning when I did it the first time, I thought, oh my god, that will be such a cool end boss, you know? That when already the pre-boss of the event is really cool. But then it was not, you know? It was like, okay, there's nothing coming after that. There are just structures that I fight. What? Nothing happens there. It feels not great. I really think so. But you know, what can you do? I think they kind of make up for it with the legendaries and new skins. Masteries are terrible. Yeah, I think the legendary are the things that keep me playing the thing, for sure. Interesting is a word you could use. Dog shit would be another, exactly. I think the portal tome is good. I don't like it that it needs multiple clicks. Yeah, so that's the thing that I don't like about it. That you have to click multiple times to get to a location that I previously could with one click. It's the same for the gobbler. And yes, it combines my inventory down into one thing, and I have more shared inventory slots. But you can see I already have a lot of shared inventory slots, so I don't care too much. Yeah, so. Yes, there might be some people that care and want to have the inventory smaller. Yes, sure, then it's good. But for me, I think they could have gone a little bit further and make it the UI a little bit flashier. We talked about it earlier on stream, and I think that's what's missing there. But I like the quality of life. I'm happy about every single quality of life that we get. That much is for sure. Yeah, so that's my assessment. I think that I will release a video about it where I put it very concisely on my YouTube channel tomorrow. And I really want to give my feedback on every single feature and every single part of the expansion patch that came out on Tuesday. But I would say it's too small for the amount of quality that we got. And we waited 3 months for this, and this is not something that I would say is up to the standards that we usually get from Arena. That's my assessment there. Yeah, which is too bad, because it's actually would really like to see multiple new things that are really cool and really interesting. But at this point, I don't know. I really feel the patches are just a very shallow experience. Yeah. Which is really sad to me, because, you know, I was always hyped up for new legendaries and stuff, but when that's the only feature that comes out with the updates, it feels a little bit sad as a veteran. Yeah, I really want to see the video of ArcDPS as well, whenever you can make it. Yeah, I think the ArcDPS video is really interesting, because there are so many things you can talk about in ArcDPS. You know, if you think about all the stats and all the stuff that you can do here, this is like, I will do a video about it, but that's not something that you can make like very easy. You have to explain every single in detail and stuff. So I will do it, don't worry. But it takes a while, and currently a lot of people are engaged with the patch. So that's what I make content about right now, because that's obviously the most pressing issue. But there will be an ArcDPS guide, don't worry. So the last part of Chantier is not good. I would say it's not good, yes. Personally, yeah, that's my assessment there. Yeah, I think that's also the end of today's stream. So I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to check out my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Thanks for all the follows, we appreciate it. Thanks for the raid. And yeah, see you around, guys. Have fun. See you around, and yeah, have a nice day of the rest of the day, and nice rest of the week. See you around, have fun, and take care.